Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pull Up 3. I am Paragon Don.
Janae.
And I'm Jay Trent.
What we'll be talking about is our Sweet 16 and Elite 8 recap. Last episode, we talked about the start of the tournament and round of 32. Um, so we'll do that, talk about Angel Reese declaring, and just like the whole villain conversation a little bit. Um, Talk about WNBA draft, kind of expectations, the promotion for the WNBA draft. The commercials have been very cute. Um, Final Four expectations, because all of our Final Fours are busted thanks to UConn and other things, and transfers, and then the Ole Miss hire that just happened. So, um, I guess the first thing that we can talk about is our Final Four expectations. So, right now, it is NC State versus the undefeated South Carolina and Iowa versus UConn. And as much as I love South Carolina, I think the game I'm most excited for is Iowa and UConn. Um, you know, we talk about promotion and whatnot, and like how proximity to whiteness and things kind of helps and whatnot. Paige was the OG, and Paige is really good at basketball, but Paige was the original. Came out of high school, had all of this hype, and very like well deserved. But like this is the person that was being propped over everyone. She even had to go on her SP's thing and be like, "Hey, thanks for this award, but y'all kind of doing a lot. Like, let's not forget about the other people. Let's not forget about the black people over here."
With the light that I have now, as a white woman who leads a black-led sport and celebrated here, I want to show a light on black women. They don't get the media coverage that they deserve. They've given so much to this sport and the community and society as a whole, and their value is undeniable. And in the WNBA last season, the postseason awards, 80% of the winners were black, but they got half the amount of coverage as the white athletes. So I think it's time for change. Sports media holds the key to storylines. Sports media and sponsors tell us who is valuable, and you have told the world that I matter today, and everyone who voted, thank you. But I think we should use this power together to also celebrate black women.
And I honestly think she's the best two-way player left, if not in the whole NCAA. And, Caitlin is the best scorer passer combo that we've seen. So I want to get y'all thoughts on the expectations of this matchup.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this matchup. And like, I hate the way that they keep bringing up Caitlin saying that she wanted to go to UConn originally, which everybody went to UConn. Like, if you were a women's basketball fan, you were watching them UConn teams. Like I'm not running through all the names. If everybody who's everybody. Like there's a very well documented group of UConn players. So no, it's no surprise that Caitlin wanted to go there. And they keep bringing up, it's like, oh, she wanted to go to UConn, and she never heard from Gino. And I saw where they asked Gino about it, and he was like, "We already had Paige committed." Like, like, yeah, Paige is coming. Like, why am I bringing another point guard? Um, the women's team USA under 19 team. I can't remember which year that was, where they were both on that team, and Caitlin came off the bench behind Paige. But
Behind Paige and
that
Haley Van Lith.
behind Paige and Haley Van Lith, yes, that roster is absolutely ridiculous. Like, please go look at that if you haven't seen that. But yeah, so I'm very excited for this matchup. Um, I think we're going to see a lot from Aaliyah Edwards. Like the way that she gets to the paint, and like her decision making once she's in there, I'm really excited to see how she looks against the Iowa bigs because in the LSU game, Angel Reese was giving him a hard time, especially early on. Like eventually she got in foul trouble and she had the injury, so they kind of derailed her a little bit. But to see what they'll do with a big like Aaliyah Edwards, I think that she's gonna give them similar issues.
No, I actually am. Is that Nas's first name? Anyway,
Yeah.
And it's like finding out Juju got a whole different name. What's
you know
what's
what?
Juju what's Juju real name?
Judea.
Don't derail me.
Sorry.
I will go on a rant anyway. Damn, what we're talking about? Oh, the matchups. Honestly, I'm really curious actually about this matchup. Mostly because and I kind of said this a little bit ago, but Paige has shown me something. Like the stats in the same way like that we talked about like Breanna Stewart winning MVP and like the numbers are always on her side. So it's like you never can really look and be like, oh, she stinks. I feel like Paige hasn't shown me in the matchups I've watched her this year. I haven't felt like none of them have been like, oh, she's that girl. You know, I'm like, she's obviously a very good player and obviously is leading UConn, but none of them have been like, oh, she's the one. But when she matched up against Juju, I was like, and it wasn't even until that last, when we talk about those matchups, I'll find a highlight to show the exact moment. But like I feel like I saw the dog come out of Paige and I was like, oh. And Gino started getting like doing some real coaching, like switching up the assignments and like Nika. It's amazing to me that Aaliyah Edwards didn't foul out in that Duke game. She had 4 fouls like majority of the game. Like Nika not fouling out after that Syracuse game. Like Gino has been doing some real coaching lately, so I gotta give him some respect at this moment. And so I'm like really interested to see what he does with the Iowa bigs. Because too, I feel like Iowa wants to run, but UConn, I think, is a team that can play really well in the half court, and they play defense really well. And I don't really see them, especially after the games they've played thus far, like I don't really see them getting sped up in the way that Iowa did LSU. So I'm like really, really excited to see like the matchups they come up with and how Iowa responds to that.
And just to back on Jay's point, just so we can all look at this under 19 roster for 2019, you have Haley Van Lith, who, although she has not had a great year this year, for most of her collegiate career, she was very, very good. And I don't want anyone to look at this and like forget about that. Like that girl is good at basketball. She might not have fit well with LSU, but she is good. And there's a reason she started on that team. Celeste Taylor, who is about to declare for she did declare for the draft, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, this was her 5th year, so she was done.
And she was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. Diamond Miller, she currently plays for the Lynx. Ashlyn Jones, she plays for the. Does she still play for Mercury? Okay.
Yeah, Mercury.
Ryan Howard is a star for the Atlanta Dream. Nas is
former Rookie of the Year. Don't forget.
Former Rookie of the Year, 2-time All-Star. Like she's her. Nas is a very good piece on the Atlanta Dream. Queen, she is on the Mystics now, if I'm not mistaken. It's crazy because I could just read this. But she's been very good for her career. She was on the Fever first. Caitlin Clark, of course, you know, Caitlin Clark is her at the moment. And Paige, probably one of the best high school prospects we've seen out of the women's game, especially like at least in like the hoop mixtape era. next to like Zaya and Juju and them, like you knew about Paige long before you knew about a lot of these other players. Cameron Brink just won National Defensive Player of the Year. She's probably going to get drafted #2 overall to the Sparks. Aaliyah Boston, Jamae, you can say your piece if you like to, but this is
Rookie of the year, unanimous.
unanimous
No
rookie of the year.
competition.
It came into the league and is one of the best players in the league.
And she not broke because she in a Coke commercial that we done seen. They ain't even mention her name, but she in that Coke commercial. Yeah.
And I do not know this young lady, unfortunately.
Yeah, Fran Believe actually retired from basketball and went to get her went to get her master's from Harvard, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's the one who like dunks all the time. Like anytime you look up like girls dunking, it's like at least 6 highlights of her.
So like this is a roster of players who are either in the WNBA or going or very close to. So like UConn not picking her is not anything against her, or it wasn't, at least not at the time. It's just like Jay said, man, I got Paige. Like, I'm sorry. I know you wanted to play here all your life, but like this is the best prospect out right now. I ain't really got no. And she a guard. Y'all play the same position. And Lord knows I can't imagine if Paige didn't have them 2 injuries, like what the landscape of college basketball would look at as far as how people would view them. So yeah, that should be a absolutely amazing duel. It is a UConn will have the best coach. You know, Iowa arguably has the best player. Although again, I said I feel like Paige is probably the best 2-way player and left in the tournament. The Iowa's 3-point shooting and surrounding pieces that I just want to reiterate, if people watch the LSU game, those girls are not bad. I feel like a lot of times when people are trying to prop up Caitlin Clark, they'd be like, yeah, she's not playing with nobody. That girl is playing with people. So yeah, that should be very good. And then we have NC State and South Carolina. South Carolina is of course undefeated and still, and NC State has made an improbable run, not as improbable as the boys, but an improbable run to the Final Four. And I don't know, it sounds like on paper it should be something that South Carolina just kind of breezes by, but NC State not gonna let them do that.
NC State got some like that backcourt. Like I know that they before the game against before NC State played Texas, they were saying Isaiah James and Sanaya Rivers, you know, they saying that they want to be the best D1 backcourt. And I mean they going for that. Like I'm intrigued to see first Sanaya Rivers playing against her former team. She transferred to NC State because she wanted to move back home. And also she was getting a bigger role with NC State that she had with South Carolina. Can't really fault her for that. So there's always gonna be that aspect of the game. Isaiah James won most outstanding player for their region in the bracket. She has been absolutely lights out in this tournament. She closed out the game against Texas 27-6-4. So I know that them two gonna come ready to play. They actually have a pretty good team all around. So obviously, you know, South Carolina, that's a tough matchup for anybody. I think they have the best coach. They have one of the best defenders. They probably have the best shooter in the country, the best spot up shooter in Tahina Paopao. So that's gonna be that's gonna be an interesting matchup. I'm intrigued to see that. intrigued to see what each team brings as far as their game plan is concerned.
And speaking of oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm a little scared because Tennessee is like the one team that has played South Carolina very close very recently, and North Carolina just beat them like 2 weeks ago. And so like obviously doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be the same thing, but like you both said that, or like both of you said that Isaiah James has been absolutely hooping. Tanaya Rivers, like I feel like throughout the season she was like trying to figure out like that balance between like taking over and like distributing the ball. And I feel like recently she's kind of been getting to a sweet spot. But what I think is like kind of important for both, and something I saw the other day on Twitter, they were talking about they were showing like a graphic of like this where the starting five from each each team came from. And I was just thinking about how like once you get deep into the tournament, your experience as a player really, really matters. And so we can look at every team and say like someone or a few people on this team have like been here before, not necessarily in the Final Four, but they've played, they've played a decent few games in a tournament. They know what it looks like to kind of turn it on and turn it off. And I think that's going to be really important. More so for South Carolina than North Carolina, but I think it'll be interesting. I'm really interested to see what Dawn does, because in that last matchup, when they played Oregon State, she was stressing me out. I ain't gonna lie, she had Tahina in that game for a long time. And my sister, I love her down, but she was not doing enough. She was not doing enough for me. But she, finally put in Tessa, and to shout out to Tessa, because to have a game like that as a freshman is crazy. And they're, South Carolina is not new to freshmen having breakout games, but for her to have that kind of game, and I feel like when she walked into the year this year, people didn't really expect much from her. They probably didn't expect her to get too much playing time. So to be able to like close the game and like a close one, between Oregon State, I think that was really special. So I'm really interested to see what Dawn does, because I don't know if she would be able to do that in this game. You know what I'm saying? If Tahina is not shooting and she's a step behind on defense against Anaya or against Isaiah, like those are costly possessions. And so I'm really hopeful that she's going to do the right thing when it matters, and not, we talked about it like last week about the sometimes coaches keeping in who they think should be in and not who actually needs to be in. So I hope she just doesn't pull one of those, because South Carolina has had a really great season, and I would really like to see them like make it all the way, but a lot of things are going to be at play. So
it's crazy because we gave Don a lot of praise about like being one of the coaches who's willing to put in those who are playing better and not necessarily over, and like someone who was starting or whatever. And then Tahini was in there all day, and all of us were just like, I don't know, sister. Don't know.
It's kind of it's a, how when the game gets close and you kind of, I'm imagining, like, as a coach, you probably thinking, you say, okay, well, this is my closing five. Like you can have in your head who your best five is, but when the game breaks down, sometimes things got to change. And it took a minute. It took a minute for her to be like, okay, this not gonna work. She done played 30 minutes and got 5 points. Like we got to do something, because we need somebody that's gonna be willing to put these shots up. Because you could tell it seemed like Tahina had started to lose a little confidence in her shots. And I know part of being a coach is like, I'm gonna keep her in there because she got to figure it out because we need her, which they do. But for this particular game, she was like, okay, I'll pull her, we can reset, and we can go from there. So I think that happening is going to it should open up an opportunity if that type of adjustment needs to be made in this game, whether it's with Tahina or whether it's with a different player. I think that happening in this game against Oregon State should open that up for them going forward.
Yeah, and I think she will too, because it just at that point, I feel like too, like in that second half, I kind of felt like, okay, Tahina's about to get into it, and she just didn't. And like obviously it's no fault of her own. Sometimes you just have bad days, but it was really good to just see her make that adjustment. I was like, thank God, because like they were playing so close. But I feel like as soon as she made the Tessa swap, like Oregon State couldn't do nothing. Like they couldn't get a shot off. They couldn't. They could the possessions, like they were making silly turnovers. Like they just couldn't get going. And I feel like they need some of that separation. Like we've seen a lot of the times where South Carolina will have a really big lead and then they'll let their opponent come back one way or another. Sometimes it's lineup, sometimes it's just not being as intense on defense. But I think it'll be really important for them, at least these last two games, to like be serious because, at any point, like NC State can heat up at any point, whether they get to Iowa or UConn, like they can heat up, so it's not, you can't just be out there like, all right, we'll hold it down at the end. Like you need to hold it down at the beginning. So we'll see.
So I'm thinking I would like to do our predictions for the rest of the tournament. So I'm thinking for mine, I think it'll be South Carolina versus UConn again. I think Paige is gonna pull out the white on white crime fight, and I think they'll play UConn, and then South Carolina will beat UConn again. Now, am I 100% confident on that? Absolutely not. But if I had to put money on it, I think that's what I'd go for. Although it's very, very hard for me to bet on, I guess Iowa, especially since I had it in my Final Four. But like, UConn is putting on such it. Like, if this was like pre-tournament, I'd have been like, I was gonna beat the shit out of them. But like, now that they're playing these games, I think Paige was averaging 21 points a game, and now she's averaging like 28 or 29. Like a 7-point jump from regular season to the tournament is crazy. She is doing unbelievable shit right now. And like Jermaine said, Gino is really coaching his ass off right now. Like we talked earlier episodes, it made fun of how long he's been coaching, and like how he probably should hang it up, which is like, still not the question because you kind of being selfish. But like he really doing the damn thing. And like I can't hate on that. So I don't know. I feel like if anyone is gonna figure that out, it's gonna be Gino. And especially since LSU, the thing that kept LSU from winning was the fact that they didn't double, which was very crazy. And like Angel getting hurt really derailed a lot of things. Like I think people really underestimated how much that injury impacted them.
I have a hot take, but I'll save it.
Yeah, wait. But I don't think Gino not letting that slide. I think Gino would die before he let somebody get 40 on him. But I don't know, man. I don't know. So that's my hot take. Is I think it, or that's my prediction. I think it'll be South Carolina versus UConn with South Carolina winning it all.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be. I'm gonna go South Carolina and Iowa because and there's no like There's no like my basketball brain or anything like that. Like this is just I ain't going off nothing. This is me going strictly off vibes. I'm going I'm going with South Carolina and Iowa. I would love to see UConn in this game, actually. I actually don't think I don't think there is a bad matchup with any of these four teams. But I'm going with South Carolina and Iowa, and I'm picking South Carolina to win it all.
I just can't bet against South Carolina. I'm going South Carolina, Iowa for um, purely agenda. Now, if North Carolina beats them, I'm going UConn. Again, purely agenda, because I think the people want rematches. And so I think honestly South Carolina got to get their lick back. So Iowa kind of needs to win for that to happen. But if UConn decides they want to get their lick back, North Carolina State gotta win. So I am voting for the agenda. And since I think South Carolina plays first, I'm gonna pick them. But I'm voting for the agenda.
Listen,
This is for the ratings.
That's a great reason. Fantastic reason. I can't even hate on it. So we got South Carolina, UConn, South Carolina, Iowa, or NC State, UConn. Basically, okay, I can see that. So what I'll do now is I'll share my screen and we can recap the games just like last episode. So we've already talked about these. So South Carolina, Indiana. South Carolina has scared me tremendously since this started. I was absolutely concerned with this. This game was entirely too close to my liking. Indiana, you did your damn thing. You very much almost played spoiler, and I respect the hell out of you for that. But dear Lord, I was like, what the hell's going on?
You know, part of me wants to say I wasn't nervous because they have the Dawn Staley who wear to Raven Johnson. No, but when Raven hit that shot, I said, okay, Indiana's cooked. The Hoosiers are cooked. My girl feeling herself. She didn't remember who she was, and like Indiana's cooked. But I was a little nervous before that because you could tell they was trying to get it to Camilla. She was like, "Know what? I got it, fam." I'm like, "All right, yeah, Indiana, go ahead, pack your bags, sisters. You're not gonna go out with this one."
Hey, before Raven hit that shot, I was definitely like, bro, what are they about to do right now? Because it's like they had this. I mean, we talked about it before that South Carolina be having these big leads, and then stuff just slowly starts to waver. And like Raven's quote was cool. It's like, if Don Staley not worried, we not worried. But at the same time, it's like, why does this keep happening to y'all? Like somebody got to worry. I need somebody scared because this can't keep going on. I was like, bro, if Raven don't hit this three, they're dead. And she hit it, and I was like, all right, it's good now. I ain't got nothing to worry about. But before then, I was like, shit, man, it's like a minute left. If they miss this, I'm pretty sure Indiana about to score. And yeah, but they held it down. So
I just want to say too,
like,
looking at the ESPN win probability, they never picked Indiana. Like they never picked Indiana. Like, not even close. I think
that's like
80.
it's like one of them. It's like one of them games where when the game get tight and they say that the coach call a timeout and get y'all in the huddle and be like, "Do y'all want to win or not?" It's like I ain't coming in here to draw up no play. Are you a man or a mouse? Like,
are you a man or a mouse?
Like now is the time. Ashlyn Watkins came through with an incredible game winning block as far as I'm concerned. Like when she blocked that shot, I was like, okay, nah, this is really over. Like it's no coming back from this. But yeah, that game had me on the edge of my seat because I was like, but like y'all said, when Raven Johnson hit that shot, I was like, okay, they should be straight. But Indiana never went away. And I mean, in a game that y'all were not expecting to win, some people were projecting the game to not be close. So the fact that they showed up and played the way they did, that's something to be proud of because all five they had 5 players in double figures. Sydney Parrish had 21 points. Like everybody showed up.
Oregon
I just
State.
wanted to say,
Oh, sorry.
oh, wait, yeah, I can say that. Next one.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. We're on Oregon State and Notre Dame now.
Nose ring gate. I fucking hate NCAA officiating. I'm about to write a strongly worded letter.
And Marquez is the veteran trainer. We've seen a lot already in this game, Steph. We've had a shot clock issue, and now Hannah Hidalgo's nose ring is being taken out before they are going to let her back on the court. Holly?
So, there is a no jewelry rule. She had just a little tiny diamond stud in her nose, but she's been informed that she has to take it out, so they're working to get that out right now.
All right, thank you, Holly. They were going to get her back onto the floor as soon as possible. Hidalgo committing that foul in literally the last second.
And Hannah Hidalgo, I believe, has been playing with tape over it all season long, so I'm sure it's tough to get it out. It looks like she's been in some pain over there as well.
Because the NCAA is going to hell, the whole organization. Honestly, for real. What?
I was gonna say my conspiracy is I think that other coach snitched. It was like, hey, I know y'all see that nose ring. I really think shit because the fact that they seen this girl pregame and during and like warm ups, all that, and they ain't say nothing. And like in the middle of the game, they like, you know what? We got to bring out these damn pliers. I'm like, I don't know, man.
She said in like a presser that they told her, one of the refs told her that she could wear it. And then when they got in the game, the ref told her she had to take it out. Which to me is like somebody, I agree that somebody probably had to be like, she's not supposed to be wearing that. Which compared to the other things that the NCAA has done this weekend, i.e. racism in Idaho, i.e. 9-inch difference on the fucking 3-point line in Portland, like, I just feel like that was at the bottom of the list. And then to come out with a statement that was like, oh, it was a point of emphasis. A point of emphasis for who? When did we discuss this? Like, usually when that happens, they tell you beforehand, reminder, girlies, you can't wear jewelry, take it out. But for you to wait until what? Was it the first quarter or second quarter? Like, they had like 4 minutes left. They're like, actually, take that out. What are we doing? And that really just, I think, really fucked up Hannah's like her flow and like her confidence, because she's like, well, fuck, like now I gotta get back in the game, and she wasn't hitting really any good shots. I wouldn't even say she was taking bad shots, but shots that she would normally make, she just couldn't get to fall.
Yeah, that was.
She was visibly shaken. Like you could tell by like you said, she was getting to her spots, like the spots that she normally gets to, and the shots just weren't going down. Like you could tell that it kind of shook her up a little bit, and that's to be expected. Because I mean, what do you like? Why did we wait until now for this to be an issue? Like I thought they said that she had been like playing with a bandage covering the nose ring and nobody had an issue. But
she's been playing with it like free. The only person I know who's been wearing a Band-Aid all year is Sanaya. Everybody else is just playing nose ring. That's it. Like Camilla even has like, I'm pretty sure Camilla has like a double piercing. And obviously she took hers out because it was the next game. But like she's worn hers all season. No Band-Aid, no nothing. And now all of a sudden we're in the Sweet like about to go to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, whatever, and it's nose ring.
This is like when cops be trying to stop people from jumping over the turnstile in the subway. It's like, yeah, I guess this is like, I guess this is illegal, but like, if people get stabbed down here, like, are y'all sure this is what y'all worry about? Like, what's going on right here? So yeah, I can imagine that affected Hannah a lot. Listen, I got 2 nose rings, and I done had these bitches in for a long time. If someone told me to take these out right now, I would be moping the rest of the day. Like, I just would not be the same person. Like, nose rings become a part of your personality after a certain point. Like, yeah, this nigga is me.
Unfortunately, they do. Like,
Bro,
it's kind of crazy. But they kind of do.
If anyone who's had a nose ring for longer than like a few weeks to a month, like that shit that is you. Like, I could not imagine not having this in my nose at any point. I remember a job was trying to tell me, like, you got to take that out. And I was like, damn, I might be getting fired. Because I was like, bro, like, I ain't taking this bitch out now. Y'all hired me with it. So, like, this is me. It's like asking me to cut my hair or something. Like, God, that's crazy. So, but she was missing shots that I would kind of expect her to hit. And, like, Oregon State just played really good defense overall. They held it down very, very well, which is how they even, got to the Elite 8 in the first place and how they've been able to make this run that they made. And we'll talk about like that when we get to that. But, Notre Dame has nothing to be ashamed of or hang their head on. I think a lot of times when people lose this deep into the tournament, it can definitely feel disappointing and like a wasted opportunity or whatever. It's very easy to say like, oh, Hannah's young, she'll be back. The same way we could be like, oh, Juju's young, she'll be back. Because you never know. But they had an incredible season. I think Olivia's supposed to be coming back next season. Like, they have a lot to look forward to. And I can also imagine that with all these damn transfers, somebody will play with Hannah. Somebody will play with Olivia. Like, yeah, Coach
Alyssa Latham from Syracuse just entered the portal. Give my sister a call. Like, I'm just saying, give my sister DL. Let's start making calls.
I got to see what Coach Ivy cooking, because I know somebody wants to play there. Like, your youngest player is your best player, and also she's not only is she a great scorer, she's like, again, top 5 or 6 in the country in scoring, but she's extremely unselfish and she's your best defender. Like, that is a perfect person to want to play with. So, that'll be exciting for their future. So next is Texas and Gonzaga. I did not expect Gonzaga to go out like this.
Let me look at the numbers before I say something.
Did I have Texas?
I did.
I absolutely did. Like this though?
The thing is, Gonzaga shot so well against Utah that I was like, if they're not able to recreate this, they are cooked.
That's fair.
And they were not able to recreate it, like, at all. And like, I love Yvonne Down. But Texas defends, and they have pretty good bigs. And it's like maybe if you did big to big, it's pretty good. But I think what we've seen is that without at least good guard play, you're kind of cooked. And Madison Booker only had 6 in that game, but y'all let Shay Holly shoot 5 for 7 from the 3-point line. No, from field goal. She shot 5 from 7, and she shot 2 from 3 from the 3-point line. And Shaylee Gonzalez was 3 for 5. I mean, like, y'all let them cook you from the like. It was kind of no hope. So sorry to my girls, though. I did think they would put up a better fight, but I was like, once I saw that they weren't shooting that well, I was like, y'all was gonna have to beat Texas from the 3-point line.
Yeah, like you said, like it came down to guard play because you know Yvonne Ejim is obviously a very good big, but Texas with Aaliyah Moore, who showed out in that game, 16, 10, and 6 for Aaliyah Moore. And the difference maker ended up being the Texas backcourt. Like when they started to get it going, Gonzaga wasn't really able to punch back, and that was really it for them. Like I didn't expect the game to end up being a 22-point deficit, but once it got going, it was clear. Once Texas guards got going, it was clear that it wasn't going to be much of a game.
NC State and Stanford. Now, Stanford is funny because, and when I say Stanford, I mean I especially mean Cameron Brink, because I'm pretty sure they were posting that she had 5 blocks in the first half and no fouls, and somehow she fouled out. Somehow, some way, she still managed to foul out. You have no fouls going into 20 more minutes of basketball, and you foul out. That is just a very funny way to lose. Kevin Brink is very good at basketball, but she just won her National Defensive Player of the Year. She was her Conference Player of the Year, all that. But if she's going to play at the next level, that has to be figured out. If she's fouling out against these college players in 20 minutes of basketball, them WNBA players might eat her alive.
Okay, so I just looked. I wanted to make sure. The record for most blocks by one player in a NCAA women's tournament game, Brittany Griner, against Georgetown, had 14 blocks, and I say that to say Kevin Brink had to be trying to top that, because what is going on? Wait,
before you get going, I just want to say, one person blocking y'all team shots 14 times in 40 minutes of basketball is absolutely insane. And it's probably also really scary. I just can't imagine wanting to shoot the ball and knowing there's probably a 40-50% chance if I shoot this, it's getting blocked. That's just...
Yeah. She had in that game, Brittany Griner had more blocks than Georgetown had made shots. So yeah, she had 14 blocks and they made 12 shots.
I know Georgetown at the end of that game was just it can't be. It's one of those performances that you really can't do nothing but shrug your shoulders. It's damn.
They should have jumped her ass at the end of the game, because what the fuck?
Yeah, because I know they had to do the handshake thing at the end. It really should have been on some one person jumps on her back and puts her in a chokehold, and then a couple people start punching her in the stomach. I don't know. You blocking my team shot 14 times? Nah, that's crazy.
So it's the way that Cam Brink played in the second half, and I know a couple of those fouls can be debated, whatever. But you got to be mindful of where you stand as far as that goes. And she just like she got trigger happy with it. And you're not gonna block every shot. Like, especially with you being as important as you are to your team on both ends of the floor. Um, you gotta be more mindful of your fouls, where you stand. Like, I know you can't take them with you, but you might want to hold on to one. Like, once you get four, because see, once you get four, they're gonna start going at you. Because it's like, well, now she can't foul. So this gonna be easy money. And that's not how that works. And that's how you foul out in a close game and your team ends up losing by double digits.
I would just like to know what our Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Tara, had to have said to her when she had no fouls at the beginning of the second half and ended up with 5. Like, what do you say? Like, when your best player who had no fouls gets 4, and like, what are the conversation? Like, did she say to her, like, yeah, you kind of tripping? Like, you should probably calm down? Like, there was no, I don't know. There has to be some type of, because again, some of the fouls maybe they could have been debatable, whatever. I don't care what kind of conspiracy the refs may have against you. You can't. At a certain point, you doing something wrong. Like, you have to be.
The problem is that Cameron is a serial fouler, and they don't be calling it because they be calling them blocks. But that lady be fouling people so bad, like so bad. She has been a serial fouler since she was a freshman, dude. Like, it's so many Cameron Brink blocks that I've watched, and I'm like, she is literally slapping that lady across the arm, like that ass going across her body. And everybody's like, "Oh, that's a crazy block." She hit her, like that hit her. So I just think she's gotten away. This is her karma, I think, because she's gotten away with too many fouls in her career. And I feel like honestly, this year she had a good stretch where she wasn't fouling out as much. But this is her karma because you should have had more fouls on the books, but they wanted you to be defensive player of the year, so they had to tally them as blocks when you are not vertical, sister. It's a rarity. But anyway, this is the North Carolina State Stanford game is another like guard play beating your ass. Like, again, once Isaiah and Sanaya got going, it was Stanford was like, well, what are we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna like? We have nothing. We have nothing to give, and that's very unfortunate to me. It's really I only feel it's unfortunate because of Kiki. I need my sister to be free of that team. I know she won't be. She won't leave. But I really just want her to be free because she spent a lot of this year secretly carrying that team, and people won't even really give her the credit for it because she's standing next to Cameron Brink. When the reality is they only was even keeping it close because of her. So I don't feel bad for Tara or the Bob because this is your crime for that Lifetime Achievement Award. So sorry to those girls. Kiki, I'm sorry to you.
So if Kiki decided, like, I'm going to the transfer portal right now, where would you like to see her go? Like, where's your dream spot?
Pick up the phone, Notre Dame. They need to fly her out immediately. Get the plane. Send her the private jet. Don't even worry about it. Honestly, she can go anywhere, seriously. But if I'm Neil, I'm hello. Like, what do you want? We will give you whatever you want. If I'm her, if I'm hell, Ole Miss, goddamn.
We're
literally
leaving the girls away from Ole Miss. We'll talk about that later.
You're
But
right. We
Ole Miss,
are.
you're canceled. We'll talk about that later. Ole Miss, you're canceled.
I
That's
hate it
dead.
had to be
And it's
I
crazy
hate it had
because
to be them.
before I don't want to get too much of the topic because again we'll talk about it. And I want to say I hate it had to be Coach Yo, but like you allowed this, so I don't know. We'll talk about it.
But no,
yeah.
she can go to literally any school. I think no, but if she really wanted, she could really go to the ACC and take over that Liz Kitley role, and just be the best big in the conference because who's gonna guard her?
She can come to Wake Forest.
No. Already in him. She don't need to go no further.
She'll be the best big in the ACC. What you mean? She'll be up in the rafters with Timmy D and them. Like, come on now.
Jeff Teague.
Yeah, Jeff Teague.
Chris Paul.
Josh Childress. Or Josh Howard.
Y'all not saying nobody that I want to hear about. Jeff Teague.
Tim Duncan.
Look, we ain't got John Tyler. Look, we ain't got much to
De'Erica Hamby. Okay, sorry. All right. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Go to Notre Dame.
My bad.
Hold on. Like there are some better options. Just saying. Wake Forest not one though. Sorry to that team.
What about USC?
US Southern Cal?
Yeah.
She can go there. They need her. Actually, they need her. Let's wake that one up too. They need her. Kiki next to Rayo.
Yeah, that'd be something.
Yeah, I will allow it. Mm-hmm. She better not go to UCLA though. Corey Close, you will get nothing else. Anyway, I'll wait for that.
UConn and Duke. You know, this is another one of them games. Duke arguably was not supposed to be here anyway. You know, Ohio State. Sorry, Jay. They did what they needed to do to get here, and I respect them a lot for being here in the first place. I don't. This was really just like Paige decided to be like, you know what? Come on, let's get to the Elite Eight.
Because Duke walked them down. UConn, for a second, I was like, UConn should be embarrassed because
this is that game where it was like they had like less than 20 points at halftime at a certain point. They were both of those teams were being very nasty at the beginning. I do remember that.
At halftime, Duke had 13 and UConn had 23.
The fact that Duke got to 45 is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Scoring 6 points in the first quarter. 6 points.
So
it was killing me because I was like, damn, I was just giving Carl her flowers saying she really coached well. Reagan Richardson just hooping. And then they came out and they did that. And I said, Carl, what are we doing? But Duke walked them down. I kid you not. I was sitting on my couch. I had the game on. And I was like, just periodic looking at the score. Because I was watching it at the first. And I was like, Duke is playing terribly. They don't want to play serious basketball right now. So I don't want to be a part of this. And then somewhere in the third quarter, Duke started hitting shots. And I was like, okay, Duke, you might be getting serious. I was like, but y'all not serious enough. And then I turned my head And then I looked again, and Duke was within 5 points. And I said, UConn, I know you're not about to do this. I know you're not about to do this. I was going to slander them. And, I was prepared. I was ready to say best player who. But you're right. Paige did was like, all right, now y'all doing too much. Let me close this out because y'all are not, I don't know what the rest of y'all doing, but y'all not playing serious basketball. So I'm gonna wrap this up for us. But I was concerned for a moment.
I know this is a very concerning outing
Yeah.
originally.
Yeah, Duke, and what Duke wanted to do from the jump was we gonna make this game as muddy as possible. Because if it's muddy, then we can stay in it. Because the thing is, Duke didn't feel like they it their game plan going in was always gonna be defense first. Because if we can get them in the half court, if we can force turnovers, if we can get them off balance on offense, that'll slow down the scoring punch enough for us to stay in the game. And for a while, it looked like they was gonna do it, but once it got the crunch time, Paige Beckers was just like, "Nah, okay, yeah, it's time to go to the Elite Eight because y'all want to play." So it ended up that's where we ended up.
And I honestly though, this is where I feel like UConn, like Gino started really coaching because Aaliyah Edwards had 4 fucking fouls. She had 4 fouls for like I want to say she had 4 fouls in the first half, if not the first half, early in the third. And I was like, sister, y'all are cooked. Like, if Aaliyah Edwards go sit down, like, y'all are cooked. Like, I'm so sorry, y'all are cooked. But that lady managed to stay in the game. And I was like, how did he do that? Because she still played 30 minutes. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying, she set like a long ass time. Like, I was like, okay, Gino, you might have did something. Just a little. And it's even funnier to think about Aaliyah Edwards, who is she is a serial fouler. Like, serial. I don't know what. And she be falling all over the place. I don't know what's wrong with that baby. She can hoop, but I don't know. And for her to get 4 fouls and not foul out, and Cameron Brink to get 5.5, that is in 1 half is just nuts. Shout out Gino. Maybe he about to snatch Tara chain anyway. If you go ahead and win these next 2 games, I think, because I think he only 2 games behind her. I might have to root for UConn for agenda purposes. I don't know.
So yeah, Duke and UConn was it was very muddy, like Jay said, but UConn ended up pulling that little baby out. So I can't really be mad. And we talked about Paige's performance, like in general, in our Final Four recap, but we're also talking about that with Southern California or USC. And speaking of them, USC versus Baylor. This was also like, I was concerned for USC at a certain point because I'm like, damn, is Baylor about to do this again? This is another team, sound like Mike Tyson. Team, theoretically, they weren't supposed to like be here. But I mean, I know Virginia Tech was missing Kitley and all that. So but they are a good team and they did what they needed to. But Juju got serious towards the end. And I mean, that baby was 8 for 28 on them 8 shots. So it's important. And as Jay always says, shooting percentages are overrated. Like those are important eight makes. She had 30, and that was a real good 30. It was a muddy 30. But sometimes it's what you need.
Nah, this is also the game where I said Juju is her. Like, I already thought that, but like, this is where I was like, no, actually, like, Juju she will be the girl. Like, there is no doubt in my mind that, like, we will in the future be getting a 96-page spread about Juju Watkins, because she scored 9 of their last 10 points to pretty much win them the game. And I was like, oh girl. Like, you ain't that. But I will say I am really proud of Baylor too. Like, y'all know I've been kind of like, they haven't been high on my list all year, but I think they've, like, the past couple of games, they've done like a really good job, especially not having, like, their team isn't that big. And so for them to be able to, like, go up against some of these teams, they've absolutely shown a lot of talent and grit and hustle. And so, like, I'm really proud of them. And like, we're even like getting this far. Let me see. I think this is the game where
She absolutely did have, but Juju did absolutely have 9 of their last 10 points. By the way, she hit a layup and like 7 free throws, and then Ray also hit a free throw at the end.
Yeah, my girl Jada had 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists. She was hooping. She was doing her thing. So yeah, I think Baylor had like, they should be really proud of their season. But Juju's that girl, and that's just hard to compete against.
Yeah. 30 in a dub is 30 in a dub. So
history don't
like,
remember shooting percentages unless you lose.
That's right. That's right. Like, you remember everybody talk about the NBA Finals game in 2011 where LeBron had like 8 points when it came down to it. I don't care if he was 100% from the field. He had 8 points and they lost. 30. Give me 30 in a dub.
Or you can get what's his name had 44 on 44 shots.
DeJounte Murray 44 on 44 shots. It was like, wish somebody would tell me how many shots he took. I do not care.
Sometimes you gotta empty that clip. If your teammate's not willing, Lord willing, I am. I will shoot till my arms fall off. And that's what Juju said. I will shoot this bitch tomorrow. If y'all not gonna do it, my arms will be left on this court. Well, I damn sure lose like that. I respect that. So she's in her. That's a nice mentality to have. Like, you know, she's shown she's willing to get a little baby up if she needs to be, or if she's guarded a certain way. Like, after she dropped 100 on Stanford, and then they decided they was going to double her the whole time the next game. And she was just like, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and pass it. But like, she's shown, hey, if y'all not going to shoot it, somebody will. And that somebody is me.
Every time. Keep shooting it. I can't believe the generation that grew up on Allen Iverson grew up to whine about field goal percentage. Like, I just like how does he feel about that? Like
Allen Iverson, Antoine Walker, Kobe Bryant,
AI about his efficiency.
Like, come on, where we going?
Analytics has literally like I don't want to say it ruined basketball, but it's to me it's the same shit as that fucking positionless. Positionless obviously worse. It's 1,000% worse. But they're both just done so much damage that I'm like, what are we doing, guys? Like, this, y'all didn't have to do this. We didn't need to know these numbers. We didn't care.
Things can be used to your advantage, but you have to know when to throw that out the window. And I mean, like when we were talking about the when we talked about the South Carolina game, the analytics might say you need threes and paint touches. But if this midi open, I'm pulling this midi.
Bruh. Your offense can't be, I don't care like whether how efficient you quote unquote are. If a team can know these are the only 2 shots you'll shoot, that's a problem. Like if I pump fake at the 3-point line and I drive and the team knows, okay, well, he's not gonna pull up for a mid-range jumper, so I just have to cut him off before he gets to the basket. That's nasty.
And it just makes your offense so stagnant. Like, the problem with Utah is that, like, they be really living and dying about that layup or three. It's like, I don't know what, like, you are missing so much of the floor by being like, actually, I won't take the shot. You are wide open. Like, there is no one there. Or you're a step ahead of them. What are we doing? What are we doing?
You need a floater, a midi, something. And I think that's another reason why I really like Paige, because like she'll shoot that damn midi.
And it's nice. Like, oof,
yeah, she gonna pop that midi, and it's cash.
Like, listen, I don't need to get all the way to that basket because I will shoot this bitch. If you let me, I swear to God,
And
I'll shoot it.
but the thing is, the fact that she's willing to do that's putting the defense on tilt from the jump, because you're like, I don't know what she's finna do, because we gotta be prepared for everything.
Because damn, if I'm driving and I hit you with this damn hezzy, you gonna have to do something. Because I'm liable to shoot this. Like, you have to react to that. But like, if I know you're not gonna take that, I don't have to do nothing. Like, what you hesitating for? You're not shooting that. You can gaslight me. Not you. LSU versus UCLA. UCLA, this game didn't feel as close as a score presented to me.
This is literally another example of a team going away from their best player. And when I say I am tired of seeing it, I am tired of seeing it. You got Lauren Betts under the basket. 6'7" Lauren Betts. Defended by 6'3" Angel Reese with 4 fouls. And you mean to tell me you're going to take a Kiki Rice floater? I want it to be like, Corey, what are we doing? As a group, what are we doing? And she kept doing it. I'm like, you just got your shot blocked, sister. Take the motherfucking ball. What are you doing? Like, and I said, and you know what, Donovan? You jinxed me. Because you got up there, you posted that clip of me being like, Corey Coast, don't piss me off. And what she do? Piss me off.
I'll take responsibility for a lot of things. I can't take responsibility. I can't take responsibility for that, because you said they did the same thing against Creighton. They literally did the exact same thing against Creighton. This is what they do. They was gonna do it regardless.
And you know what? You know what? You're right. You're right. And it's like, yeah, we were lucky that Creighton wasn't smart. But Kim, why couldn't Kim be dumb that game? Like, why couldn't she just be like, actually, I don't care about winning? Hello? Like, oh, that shit blew me so bad. And then Kiki fouled out. And then this is the part that be pissing me off the most, I think, is that they will have it'll be like the 2-minute mark or 3-minute mark where it's like, all right, we need to play serious basketball right now. We need to do something for real. And they'll just have a string of bad possessions. And then they'll get to the 1-minute mark. And they'll run a play where you get Betts the ball, or I don't know, London Jones coming off a screen and hitting a 3. Why didn't y'all do that 2 minutes ago? Like literally 2 minutes ago. That same play was available. And y'all didn't try that? Y'all didn't want to try your hand, see if it would work.
Yeah. Shout out to London Jones. She did not want to go home because she was like, I'm gonna get all these back if I got to. Now, all of them weren't, all of them weren't the best shots. But she was like, I'm pulling these. Like if I get an inch, I'm pulling these. Because somebody got to get us on the board. And it's gonna be me.
This clip will be emptied.
But also, a lot of those times, Lauren Betts was in the post with somebody that isn't Lauren Betts guarding her. And like Jermaine said, you can't teach 6'7". Sometimes throw that hand up, give her the ball. Like it made all the sense in the world to just be like, we're gonna give her this ball till they stop it. But it was almost like, nah, they expecting that. We finna do something different. But it's like you don't have to, like, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it, especially when it comes to late game execution. Like there are very specific pressure points that you got to hit to be able to get buckets late in the game. If you get in the bucket with this action, run that action again. Run it until they get a stop. But you trying to mix it up, you're allowing the defense to get in your head subconsciously. And that's what happened.
Yeah, I think sometimes coaches and teams be trying to play 4D chess, or like how you said, like, they're expecting me to run this again, so I'm gonna run something different. And it's like, bro, just do not fix what ain't broke. Like you're trying to fix something before it's broken. Like you can wait until this doesn't work anymore. If you pass this to a big man and somebody helps, that means somebody's open and she could just pass it back. Like this is not that hard of a concept. So just don't do too much and y'all will be fine. And everybody started trying to do too much. And that's where the problem started.
It's just genuinely like, it does not have to be hard. Like, you cannot stop Lauren Betts. And I think the thing that bothers me the most, especially about bigs, like a Lauren Betts, like an Aaliyah Boston, like a Cardoso, like most of them are like unselfish players. So if Lauren Betts don't feel like she gonna get a good possession out of this, she gonna pass the ball out. And how many times did she do that led to a London Jones 3? Off the top of my head, I can think of at least 2. Like at least 2 times where Lauren Betts threw the ball out and it was a good possession. That lady is not trying to be like a one-man show. She is literally playing team basketball and y'all are like, actually, we don't want you to have it. We have better things going on. I'm going to take it. And 2, Corey, is another example of leaving in your starters when your starters fucking stink. Okay? Mama's was what's her name? Dugalich was having a bad game. Okay, Gabriella Jaquez was fucking hooping. She was fucking hooping. And at the end of the game, who closed it? It wasn't Jaquez. Like Corey. Let's look at the minutes. And again, we don't really care about shooting percentages, but let's look at the percentages. This baby ain't hit a shot all game. It's been 20 minutes. Sit her down. It's okay. Everybody can't. Are you trying to win or are you trying to just put your starters out there? Let's decide. And if you won't try to win, y'all should have lost to Creighton. Because at least they would have showed up ready to hoop. Like, I just don't get it. But shout out to Flau'jae, though, because I feel like that was, like, in that game, she really took advantage of UCLA not being smart and was like, actually, I'm going to show all of the skills that I have. And got 24 and 12. So shout out to Big Flo.
Hey, I think she averaged like 20 plus for the tournament as a whole. So like she hooped her. I mean, she hooped her ass off all year.
Yeah, she's been incredible. Like, yeah.
She used her time in the tournament to put a spotlight on herself, and then use this whole, or she used last year's tournament to put a spotlight on herself, and like she used this whole year to get better and continue to be an integral piece in this LSU roster, offensively and defensively. And like in this tournament, she was even better than she was in the regular season. So like, absolutely shout out to her. Iowa and Colorado. Iowa put belt to ass immediately. Immediately. Iowa put belt to ass. I don't know. I guess Caitlin and them seen that quote about trying to get in her head, even though the full quote is not that bad. But I understand getting the piece of a quote and being like, hey, they talking shit. And so I was just turned up. And it wasn't really nothing Colorado could do. It sucked. I felt really bad for Janice Sherrod, but like belt to ass.
Yeah, I still think Colorado should be they had a very good season. Jalen Sherrod played well. Aaron Vonleh played well. It just they just didn't have the dogs at the end. Like Iowa, they like you said from the jump, it wasn't much. They didn't have much to bring to the table in that game. Like Iowa quickly took care of business.
It had to be them.
Yeah, it's really as simple as that. It's really not much you can say. Like, damn, hey, that had to be you. Like, you ran into a buzzsaw, and that's kind of just how the game goes sometimes. So I don't know. It sucks, but you hate to see it. On to the Elite Eight. South Carolina and Oregon State. I mean, we touched on some of it while we talked about Indiana, but like this was a closer game than the score let on. I remember there was a point where like South Carolina was up by I think like 16 or 17, if not more, or something like that. And I went to go look at it while I was in this bar, and I'm like, all right, I gotta use the bathroom, but I'm gonna use the bathroom when I see South Carolina score. And South Carolina would not score. And I'm like, bro, what are we doing right now? I'm not gonna be able to use the bathroom. Like I can't move until y'all do something. And they just wouldn't do nothing. And I'm like, is this how it's about to go? And this is another one of them instances where it's like, I understand if Don not worried, y'all not worried. But it's y'all scaring me.
I'm worried.
I'm scared. I'm worried. So, that was it was tough to watch at certain moments, but South Carolina did what they had to do. The thing that they've done all year, they executed in the final minutes, which you can't really say much. And that's how it was. But Oregon State did what they had to do. And they absolutely competed I don't think many people expected them to be as good as they were this year. I remember reading that piece. I don't remember who exactly it was by, so I hate that I can't like credit them appropriately. But they were talking about how the main pieces of, Oregon State, like they weren't like the team wasn't really that good the last couple years, and then they were asking them like, "Are y'all going to transfer?" And they're like, "Nah." And so they all stuck it through, and you know, they ended up making something special with this team. Now, one of them is transferring, which is funny turn of events. But yeah, so it was a great game.
Yeah, hell of a season for Oregon State. Um, like you said, there's nothing bad that you can say after. I mean, you lost in the Elite Eight to South Carolina. Like from where they were projected to be when the season started, I'm sure they are perfectly fine with that outcome. So, yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah, we pretty much talked about it, but like, and I tweeted this too, like Scott Ruick, I never want to see another X's and O's list without that man on it. Because one thing about Oregon State, they executed like out of out of the timeouts, out of the out of bounds, but like they executed really well. They had let me see how many turnovers they had. Like they only had 12 turnovers, which isn't super bad, especially against South Carolina's defense. And they also, this is another game where they took like 20 less shots than the other team. So just for them to be as close as they were and as composed as they were, like it never once felt like they were just like, oh, we can't win or we are completely out of this. Like they played their game to the best of their ability. And I do think that they should be really proud of themselves. Tamia Gardner was hooping. Reagan Beers, like, I don't think she's going to the transfer portal, but if she is, that's another one that get on the phone. Somebody, you gotta get on the phone. Get on the phone. Do not let, like, she went 16 for 8 on 5 of 9. Like, one of the most patient bigs I've ever seen. Like, if she steps in that transfer portal, somebody needs to start making some calls.
Better pull that Mark Davis package. Like, what you want? I pay you under the table and get you a car on top of this NIL. We'll figure it out. So yeah, shout out to them. Who's the player's transfer? Is it
Talia?
Okay. Where do we think she's going? Or even if you don't know where she might go, what would be like your dream scenario for her?
I think I want to say, I don't want to lie, so let me look it up first. But I don't know, like I think she would be a pretty good pickup for like most teams. She's a pretty solid guard, like she's pretty well composed. Her mid-range isn't bad. Like she could be a good pickup for a lot of people.
Maybe she can go to Stanford if Kiki
Yeah.
didn't leave.
Well,
Does Tara
Maybe.
deserve it?
Yeah.
No. But
no.
good things happen to bad people all the time.
Yeah.
Also, she's lucky because Gino is 6 games behind, so he can't beat her. Not this season, anyway.
Next year she's cooked. She's cooked. Next year she's cooked. She might
Yeah.
she might put
She's gonna have to work some magic in that portal. to try and create some space, because otherwise, yeah,
That
it's gonna be a
magic,
problem.
that magic might be a bomb in his car, because otherwise, I think she's done. I'm sorry to tell you. You give Gino your keys, your trophy, the record, and your bob. Right.
Dolores said that she should go, Talia should go to Iowa State. And Talia next to Artie Crooks moves me.
With Emily Ryan?
But Emily Ryan, like,
listen, that's a hey.
Hey, listen.
Listen.
Year two, Audie? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with it.
And one of their freshmen just got into the portal. It's
the
whole
real Iowa. And that's what we say, Jermaine, the real Iowa.
I was told I had to stop saying that. I won't though.
Who told you to stop saying that? Iowa fans?
My friend's a Caitlin Clark fan, and he's like, Iowa's the real Iowa. I'm like, are they though? Are they?
Guess we finna see.
We'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll see next year when Clark leave what that record look like. But Texas NC State. Again, just a continuation of NC State's improbable run. We talked about like Isaiah James and like the things that they're doing, and that is a team that is absolutely executing on all fronts. And you know, it's when your best player, when we talk about experience being so important this late in the tournament, and your best player being your youngest player can be hard. So, this is another one of those teams where I can understand it's disappointing. You got all the way to the Elite Eight. You were technically favorites, but like I don't really think Texas has anything to hang their hat on. And Madison Booker this is her freshman year. Nothing's guaranteed in the NCAA or in basketball in general, but like they have a very bright future. I think they'll be just fine.
I mean, not to like make any excuses for Texas, but like they made a crazy run. Like they lost Rory Harmon for the season very early on, and Madison Booker stepping up the way that she did as a freshman, like that's something to be proud of. Like the way that Madison Booker and Aaliyah Moore, Shay Halley, the way that they played to get to this point, I mean, that's something to be proud of. NC State just came to hoop. Like that backcourt is ridiculous. Like they going for it. Like they've been saying we the best backcourt, in the country. So they going for that. So they did their thing again. Isaiah James has been unconscious this whole tournament. So
yeah, listen. As I said, I don't want to lose. There was nothing Texas could do. Just nothing they could do.
Sometimes a player says, "I don't feel like going home," and that's really all it. Sometimes people don't feel like going home. I don't know. So, shout out to NC State. Again, they're making a wonderful run. Shout out to Texas. They also made an improbable run. I know they were the number one seed in their region, but they definitely had the odds stacked against them, especially with Rory's injury. But they'll be just fine. UConn and USC. This was a phenomenal duel. Paige ended up coming out on top, but Juju has nothing to feel bad about. Although seeing her sad made me sad. But like, and again, another instance of experience over anything. Like, UConn have been here so many times. Gino done been here since the Nintendo the SNES. Like, this, like,
This weird world.
he done been to the Final Four longer than a lot of people, more times than people been alive. Like, I don't like, this is what he do. And so yeah, it ain't nothing for them to feel bad about. But Paige also, again, she displayed what she needed to display, like scoring at all levels, playmaking, defending. Like, she hooped her ass off. Also, something like, this is kind of a side note, but it's funny that Juju is 6'2", and I be forgetting because I do not be feeling like she's 6'2" when I watch her on TV. But like,
Me neither.
Somebody asked me how tall she was, and I was like, I don't know, probably like 5'9" or something. And then I looked it up, I was like, Juju 6'2". Like, I think her.
Yeah, because she plays like it's the play style. Cause like she like if you told me, because you look at her and then you look at, I'm trying to think who's 6'2". Allegedly, Alyssa Peely is 6'2".
I
So
think her and
let's
Alyssa
just do that.
I think her and Alyssa
So
Peely go to the same doctor.
so so like let's say so like Juju, like if you watch them two play, you're like, no, they're not the same height. Like, come on now. But yeah.
No, I want to say this game was crazy to me. Because I was like, okay, they was kind of going back and forth, and then I was like, okay, Drew gonna turn it on, like Drew's gonna turn that corner, and it's gonna be wraps for UConn. But it was Paige who turned the corner, and that play I sent y'all was the moment I was like, oh, Paige is not going home. Sorry, like, UConn decided they're not going home today. Like, I think after that play, she came down and hit a 3. I said, yeah, they're not going home. They want to be here. I respect them a lot for that. And I think in between that, she got like a block on Ju. I was like, yeah, Paige, I have to respect your game. Like, at this point, I was saying earlier, like, the stats on her side because she's Paige Beckers, but I was like, I actually understand now. Like, I understand why I see so many like TikToks of like fan edits that don't have anything to do with basketball. I get it. I see it. I see the obsession there. But yeah, like after she did the little turnaround, whatever, I was like, okay. And it didn't help too that Gino was, their whole like approach was, we're not letting Juju beat us. The rest of y'all gonna have to show the fuck up. And it did not help that fucking the rest of them just couldn't do nothing. Padilla shot so bad. And it's not funny, but it's funny to me because I think in the last game, Debbie Antonelli was like, Padilla was getting ate up. And I was like, sister, why did you say that on air? why did you say that? And then I'm pretty sure she said it again in this past game. I was like, she's on that girl head, but she was shooting really bad. So they just weren't shooting as well. And I don't know if Lindsay was really doing anything to like get her more open, and two, I think they should have started taking care of the ball a little bit earlier than they did. Like, they was trying to make a run, but I think they started too late trying to move the ball. So I think it was more Paige going nuclear than anything, but I think USC could have did some things a little better, a little earlier, that I think would have helped them down the line.
Yeah, Davis shot 1 for 6, Marshall shot 3 for 7, Jew shot 9 for 25, Padilla shot 1 for 9, and Forbes shot 8 for 22. So as a team, they shot 23 for 70. And UConn as a team shot 28 for 58, including Paige going for 28 on 11 for 23 shooting, with 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. So like,
Paige was just like, yeah, it's levels, but it's a level you're gonna get to, but it's levels.
Paige, like this run has made me realize why UConn fans be so quick to be like, we done seen this before when it come to Caitlin Clark. Because that's why I was saying, like, if anyone might have an agenda of Caitlin lose, it's probably UConn fans. Because they be the first people to be like, that girl is not like that. Because we got a white girl that's just like that too. I told that thing too. And this, like we said, Paige she's coming off an injury and all these other things. I only imagine how mental is, but during this year, she was certainly good, but she was not as good as, she wasn't like top tier. And over this tournament, she has been top tier. Like, it's like, okay, I understand where this gas is coming from.
Like, no, seriously, it's like, maybe I understand why y'all was showing us the advanced analytics, because I was like, maybe, like, now I kind of get it a little bit. Like, I might respect it a little more now. Because before I was like, okay, girl, she got 20 on 10 shot, whatever. But like, win shares matter.
I seen this tweet where somebody was like, my only gripe with Paige is she believe in her teammates too much. And I thought it was really funny because I'm like, maybe that is the only like, she really.
But the thing is though, like, them UConn roster is different though. Like,
right.
Like them recruiting classes be kind of stacked. So it's a little bit different. Like everybody ain't able to trust their teammates the way that Paige Becker can trust her teammates. Like everybody ain't got that.
No, I feel like the biggest difference, and to me, I think this is why I was like, okay, maybe Paige, I respect you, sister. Because I feel like this was the first game where she was like, actually, I got it, guys. Like, y'all done did enough. I'm gonna just take us home. Don't worry about it. I'm not. And it's not to say that she was like not keeping them engaged, but you could see that she was like, I'm gonna carry us. Don't worry about it. Nika, you got 4 fouls. Relax. Aaliyah, just don't do nothing crazy. I'm gonna get you the ball when you need it. But in this moment, I got us. And I feel like that's like, she turned the corner when she needed to, and not, yeah.
I'm officially a part of the Paige bandwagon. Again, I already knew she was really good, but like, she got me. I'm cooked. That's my dog. I don't know.
You saw the aura.
I feel like watching her hoop I feel like she just had like a light surrounding her. Like, I'm just like, damn. I see the vision. I understand why UConn fans be annoying. See, I tweeted this earlier. All these fan bases are not good people, and all of them are annoying. As much as y'all all be like, this fan base isn't good, or that fan base isn't good, or this like team is whatever. All of y'all are bad people. But like UConn fans, I kind of understand y'all just a little bit more, just a little bit more. That's because if I had Paige,
we like being sports fans, we all delusional. Like we all got a little bit of that. We all got a little bit of that. But it's just like, it's like you'll watch a game and you'll be like if that was my team, I'd act like that too. So I get it.
And it don't help when you be delusional and then you get cosigns from like nationally syndicated people. And again, I think that's why like I would be acting crazy, UConn be acting crazy, whatever, because it's like those are the first people, like them the main people being like, yeah, this is the greatest college player ever. Or like Paige is really like her. It's like, yeah, these other people are saying it. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna say it too. Because this is what I've been saying before you were saying it.
And if somebody asks me, I'm finna pull this video up and show that somebody agree with me.
Like
this is like related but not completely related. It's so funny to me because I always think about like I always think about how like they're like national media doesn't do a good job of like telling a story of certain teams or whatever. And I think it's just so funny that like if you are a part of any fan base, like they will literally tell you why their team is the best team in the country. Like a motherfucking team could be 5-37. And the fans will talk about like they will give you a 10-page paper about why this team is still the best team in the country. And this is exactly why I can't give national media any slack because you literally can just be a part of somebody's fan base and start stealing niggas' tweets. You know what I'm saying? I have learned so much about like Paige's win shares and analytics just by seeing fans tweeting about like, you know, how much better she is. Even the Hannah versus Paige argument for the whole finalist thing. Like just people, they are literally doing the work for you. Like you do not have to do anything but be like, well, you know, over the last 5 games, Hannah Hidalgo has had 10 steals. Like you don't have to do any work. Just casually browse the internet, follow a few accounts, get them on your For You page, maybe say some negative stuff. They love drama. And the work is done. The work is done.
A lot of them big sports pages, they'll just like screenshot a tweet somebody sent and they'll just be like, yeah, look, y'all, look at this. And that'd be their content for the day. And it's just like, but another thing that I think is funny about like this the national media thing and like who gets attention and who don't. Like when UConn was on top, it was a lot of people being like, y'all aren't getting spreading this coverage very easily. And all y'all talk about is UConn and blah. And then now that they're mainly talking about Caitlin Clark, UConn fans are like, y'all don't talk about nobody but Caitlin Clark. And it's like, this is what niggas were saying to y'all beforehand. and now
it don't feel good. It don't feel good, do it?
Ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun.
That grass ain't greener. It's dirt on your lawn. Sorry to tell you. And then, last but not least of the Elite Eight coverage, Race War 2, Electric Boogaloo. Iowa versus LSU. This is one of those games where this is honestly, again, I would say this. I really do think this game could have been better if Angel Reese never got hurt. Like, I just could not imagine how this would have turned out. Was it guaranteed that LSU was going to win? Absolutely not. But they were absolutely in prime position to beat them by a solid amount of points before Angel got hurt. Like, they were running them out the gym, and Iowa looked absolutely flustered. They were running everything through Angel. If they doubled Angel, she was kicking it out. If they didn't, she was doing that little, I'm going to throw this up, and if it don't go in, I'm going to get my own rebound. And like Moses Malone. And it was, the nothing was working. Also, you know, Caitlin Clark did her thing, absolutely. There's no denying how well she played. Haley Van Lith, I'm sorry, that left you on that island, girl. That was not making someone play. First, they were going under, which was crazy. And then they were having her go over. But if you're going to have someone go over a screen, somebody has to like hedge or something. Like, if somebody has to like look like they're going to step up and like they were having the person who was getting, like, they were still having the other person still stand in the paint. And it's like, well, hell yeah, I'm about to shoot this. Ain't nobody here. So Yeah, she did not shoot well at all, and she got fried all day. But she tried her damnedest, and I can't respect that. And this is Haley Van Lith is one of those things where too many people are hating on her, so I'm starting to like her, like Rudy Gobert. So I kind of feel bad for my girl now. I kind of feel bad. I knew her to get out. I knew her to get out of Louisiana. Like she need to stay away from that state. Like, please.
One, I didn't even realize that LSU only lost by 7. This is like a really close game. But I will say I feel like it was I think like right before the third quarter. Or like the beginning of the third quarter, Iowa went on like a 6-point run. And I was like, LSU was cooked. I was in that moment, I was like, they're cooked. Nobody else has any energy. Like I think Angel started them off. And then when she hurt her ankle, it was like nobody else did anything. Like, and my hot take is that I know everybody was clowning HBL because, I mean, baby had a hard night. But I honestly am most disappointed in Anissa Morrow because she should have cooked them. Like, she should have cooked Iowa so bad. Like, I think they had Kate Martin guarding her. And I let Kate down. That's my girl. But Anissa, she won't hit her mid-range. She wasn't getting the ball to her spots. Like, she was just I was kind of waiting for that moment for her to be like, okay. Angel kind of took a step back. This is my moment to like step up and do more. Because I feel like that was the mismatch the whole entire game. Like, outside of Angel, obviously, but that was another clear one to me that I feel like she should have been able to eat them up. And she just kind of was like, all right. And I went back and looked at her score. She had 14 and 14, which is like, again, the numbers are on her side. But also, like, girl, this is the game where you should have put up 30. Like, so I don't know. I think the lack of energy is obviously the thing that pulled them back. But I think like Anissa definitely should have did way more than what she did.
Yeah. Going into the game, I was saying, Anissa Morrow is gonna be the X factor because I mean, obviously, Iowa bigs. That's looking at the front court. That's an advantage for LSU. So I was saying, other than Angel Reese, Anissa Morrow is the X factor in this game for LSU. And I mean, she played a fine game, but they needed more than a fine game from Anissa Morrow. So yeah, she was kind of passive. I don't know if she wasn't comfortable taking the shots that she usually gets, but I was expecting them to like eventually I was expecting her to get hot and them to just, feed her, especially after Angel got hurt. But it never came. And they let Caitlin Clark get cooking because they they weren't putting two to the ball. It was one screen and she's open. Like it was just
It was
I thought that
coaching
LSU was the
malpractice.
better. I thought that LSU was the better team going into the game, and just I thought with the championship experience, I felt like Iowa was gonna be motivated because of the way that last season ended. So I was expecting a win for Iowa, but I thought LSU was the better team of the two, and they didn't look like it.
Yeah, it was that score was not the game was not as close as the score let on once that second half hit. Um, the first half ended just like how you would expect the script to end. It was I think it was 45-45 or something like that. Flage just hit a crazy spin move. Like it was great. And then like I said, like that third quarter started and Iowa just got in that driver's seat and they never looked back and they just didn't have the energy they were supposed to have. Um, I think Flage did what she was supposed to do for the most part. Angel absolutely did, even with her ankle. She absolutely did what she was supposed to do for the most part. Like I seen that tweet where people was talking about this game was never like a 1v1 or something like that, and they pulled up Angel Reese's shot, like her being 7 for 21 compared to Caitlin Clark being like whatever she shot. I think it was like 3 for 21 or something. I don't know, but or 13 for 21 or something like that. I don't know, but like Angel played a hell of a game. Like that cannot be understated. Bum ankle and all. She was the only person that really could like she was deep defending the way she was supposed to. She was rebounding the way she was supposed to. Like putting up 17 to 20 is not no little shit. I don't care what your shooting percentages are.
I
Especially
think.
on
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, especially on half an ankle, but go ahead.
I think too, like honestly, I genuinely feel like um if Kim had like took the Geno approach and just did like we're like somebody else is gonna have to beat us kind of thing, two to the ball, literally anything. I honestly think LSU could have won because like it's not like nobody else on they weren't shooting bad like from the inside, but like nobody else was shooting from the three, shooting threes as well as Caitlin was. And so I really don't even think that like if LSU had just been a little bit more serious and more intense on defense, I feel like it would have been a different outcome. But it's again, it's funny because like they had posted Kim's outfit before the game, and this is obviously the like she just wore like a plain green suit, and I'm like she must have came not serious because why would you switch up your outfit type before the game? Like you ain't never worn no monochrome fit ever in your life, and you decide to do it against Lisa in your rematch. Come on now, this is not the day to be changing shit up. Like so, I don't know.
Her head was not in the game.
At all. She was not prepared. She got outcoached so bad, and I'm just like, I got kind of feel bad for the LSU players because it's like you can tell they tried, but they just want on it.
I think
They just want it.
I think Kim heard they was calling her woke and she just was not she was out of it. Which is so funny, like the most MAGA Republican lady you could think of. And uh then people found out that they don't be they be in the locker room for the anthem and they're like, this woke liberal lady, and I know it eats her up. Like, what y'all are calling me what now? Me? Me? I was in January 6th. What you mean woke? What's going on? So yeah, it's just the discourse about this. The discourse about this game has not been good, but I think that is the funniest discourse. How like the national anthem somehow got inserted into all this, and now they feel like everyone needs to be outside for the national anthem, even though that's not your routine. My thing is, I don't think you need to be playing that shit at a sporting events regardless. Like, if it's not Olympics, turn that shit the fuck off. That song is ass anyway. But yeah. And one of the dialogues, Angel declared for the draft. So shout out to her, especially for getting away from Kim. I mean, I'm sure she probably likes Kim, but if Kim turned on her eventually the way she turned on Brittany Griner, I don't know. But the conversation surrounding her about her being the villain and all this stuff has just been very, very nasty. Like, I feel like it's really not that complicated of an issue, but the way people are, they don't really have any nuance for things and feel like, oh, well, she said she was okay with being the villain, so why is she upset about anything? And it's like, that's not what these things mean. Like, if someone says people are sending me death threats and sexualizing me on the internet, including making AI pictures of me, that does not mean they're okay, or that does not mean like them being the villain is fine. Like, that's not what being a villain is, or at least like sports wise. Like, yeah, it's okay. Being a villain is fine in the sport, but once that game ends, that shit over. Like, and y'all talking about like, what do you mean with her being sexualized? Like, Haley Van Lith, like, yes, she played bad, but niggas talking about her making the OnlyFans immediately after the game was over. Like, if this is what growing the game is, I need us to gatekeep. Because what do we do? What are y'all doing? What are we doing?
Why can't? Okay, so when the take about her being a villain, I'm not saying this nigga's name. So
he's going to hell, by the way. I know
when
exactly
he was
what you're
like,
talking about.
when he was like, yeah, I'm going to make. He said this is not based on. Is it, we're taking race and gender out of the picture, and my first thought was, well, shit, that must be nice. How you
Like, nigga, how?
like, like, I'm sure she wishes she had that luxury, but that's not how this thing works. Like that ain't how any of this works. Like, why can't it is perfectly fine for you to be critical of her game or to say the antics are corny or whatever. That's your prerogative. I don't really care. It is what it is. It's just, why can't we just leave it at that? Like, why does it have to be more than that? Like, everything else is not that deep. It's not. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And it just is. It's like, I knew whether they won or lost this game, it was going to get to that because it always does. Like, even after they won last year, it got to that. So with them losing, I knew where it would go, and it's not something that I like to spend a lot of time talking about because y'all should be ashamed. Like, y'all should know better. Like, be for real.
I think my thing is, we live in America, grew up in America, and we know what America has been like since its founding. It has been founded off of racism and misogyny and all this other stuff since the beginning. Like, that shit impacts every aspect of life, from where schools are built to how lines are drawn in districts to where highways were built over Black neighborhoods to where grocery stores are. Like, racism and misogyny affects everything. So when people talk about sports, y'all be like, nah, that doesn't make sense. And I just like, why does the math everywhere else but this? Like, y'all be talking about how racist everything is, and then when it comes to sports, it'd be like, or as women's sports especially, y'all be like, nah, like that doesn't make sense. Like, they don't cover her more because she's white or whatever. And it's like, these things play a factor, and it's okay to admit that they play a factor. It does not make you, biases don't make you a bad person, but you have to be you have to understand where your biases lie and like and just like help combat those things and be mindful of those things when you say certain stuff, when you do certain stuff. So, and regardless of whether that nigga was trying to take out race and gender of his argument, they were still sending her death threats. Like, you can take out the sexual aspect of it if you want to, but like, they just sent her death threats. Like, I mean, you can't. If I'm gonna be the villain, inside of the lines, you can't say you're gonna kill me. What? So I don't know. If someone I know for a fact, if I went in that nigga DMs right now, it was like, you know what, that take was ass. I'm gonna fucking kill you if I see you. He gonna be like, that's crazy because it's crazy. That's crazy. That's an insane thing for me to be like, you know what, what you said was so bad, and I hate you so much over the internet. I'm gonna kill you, or I hope you die. And I know multiple people have said that to Angel Reese, like multiple. So
you don't even have to go that far. Like, you can literally look at her comments. She could literally be posting, like, it could be a picture of her with some flowers, and somebody would be like, guess what, Caitlin Clark's better than you. Oh, you're fucking ugly. Like, it'll be literally just random. Like, baby, what does this have to do with these roses? It's you don't have to go far, and I believe obviously everything that Angel says. I didn't listen to a word of what that man said. He's going to hell. He's not smart anyway, so it was just, I knew it wasn't going to be worth my time. And the number of people who was quoting him with think pieces, I was like, you guys are all smart, but I really hate that you wasted your time responding to him because he is stupid. Okay, and he gets paid to be stupid. So it's just kind of like you have sometimes you have to defend it because it's so ridiculous, but also it's like, let's just all pretend he doesn't exist.
Yeah, like it's so obviously fishing for engagement, and it's just like, I just wish I wouldn't give him the engagement. Like,
it's really
like that's all it is.
It's sometimes it's a catch-22 because it's like, damn, if I let this opinion ride, they're gonna say this to other people, and I can't let this say that to other people. But also, it's like, if I say anything, they just gonna keep saying it, and they really don't care. Like, they really don't care what I'm talking about, regardless. Like, they just want to say their opinion continuously anyway. So it's this, me saying anything doesn't do anything. So it is absolutely a catch-22. After I seen it, I just had to block him. I was like, yeah, I can't. I think this is over. I had to block him. I had to block Jason Whitlock, which I can't believe I didn't have him blocked already. I had to block that Dave nigga from Barstool because they put up that video of Caitlin Clark dapping Angel Reese up after the game was over, and he was like, I couldn't be Caitlin Clark because I couldn't do that. Well, you're not, nigga. So, okay, it don't matter what you could or could not do because you're not. So,
no, honestly though, I've definitely had to like go on like a block spree. Like, there are so many things that I've seen recently that I'm just like, I just want to tell you that this is so dumb, but I'm like, I can't engage. Like, I can't even give you the like time. And so yeah, I've been blocking people too because it's like, you just need to go into like an echo chamber.
There's certain people on women's basketball Twitter that be like arguing with niggas every day, and I'll be like, "Damn, I can't believe." Like, I commend you for your fight, but bro, I would have blocked them a long time ago. Like, I'd be like, "Damn, what's his response to?" And it'd be a long ass thread, and I'd be like, "Sister, you don't have to do this. He don't care what you're saying. Like, he don't care what."
No, some of them though, I think they live for the back and forth because it's like, I don't know. I'm just like, I get on the internet because I like to have a good laugh. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for the jokes, to be inspired, all that kind of stuff. But just the amount of like people who like sit and are like ready to argue is like, friend, we can get you something to do with your spare time. Like, I'm sure somebody in your community could use some help. You do not have to spend it on this app arguing with every racist you see. Because they still gonna be
Yeah.
racist at the end of this conversation.
Are they still gonna have the same exact opinion on it? They was not arguing with you to change their mind. They was arguing with you to hit themselves.
To argue.
They was arguing
See,
to argue.
this is why my account is private. Um, if y'all like y'all are like anybody listening, y'all are free to follow me. I just be because I just don't be going like that's why I'm private because I used to live for that. Because I used to be like, oh yeah, I could go back and forth with the best of them. Like but now I just be like, I ain't got time.
Bro, I can't give
I
you
was just
more.
like, I was just like, I'm tired of blocking people. Like sometimes I feel like too, but it's just like now I just tweet into the void, and it's just like I'm private because I don't like if I'm quoting something I think is stupid. I don't want the stupid niggas to reply to me because it's just like I don't care what you have to say about what I said. Like I'm just saying what I think. So
On
yeah.
Twitter, I won't give you more than 2 back and forths because if you didn't understand what I was talking about the first time and then you still ain't understand the second time, you're not gonna understand. When them NIL conversations was really heating up and niggas was walking around like, yeah, they getting up taking a pay cut. And like I would be trying to tell niggas like they're not taking a pay cut. And they'll be like, yeah, they are. I'll be like, okay, you got it. Okay.
It's the worst. And honestly, I feel like too many of my tweets recently have been kind of going up a little bit. But thank God, I will say Twitter is a hellscape, but that mute button worked. That mute button works so well. I'll like tweet something and then I'll like randomly go back to the tweet and it'll have like 10 replies and I'll be like, none of these are in my mentions. And then I'll like scroll through them and I'll be like, this is why they were not in my mentions. I did not want to see this. I did not want to see this. I do not want to talk to these people. I really be trying not to do the back and forth either though, but sometimes it's just confusing to me. Cause like the other day I was going back and forth with a dude because I've been trying to tell people that like, Caitlin Clark because ESPN decided they wanted you to know her. Like there is nothing that Caitlin Clark has done to necessarily warrant the attention that she's gotten. And too many people have been like, I saw a tweet the other day that was like, Caitlin Clark forced ESPN's hand and forced them to cover her. And I was like, this logically, we didn't really start to hear about Caitlin Clark until last year. And I said this to y'all, like her sophomore and junior year stats are so identical, like very much identical. Like her production may be improved just a tad, but they are so identical. And you only know her now because ESPN decided this is who they wanted to cover. This is who they wanted to center women's basketball coverage on. And I keep trying to explain to people that like who you cover, whose stories we hear, those are all choices that are being made by ESPN. Like we're not, if this was about scoring, last year we would have heard more about what's my baby at the wings?
Maddie Seegers.
Yeah, Maddie. We would have heard more about Maddie Seegers. She was putting up 40 balls, averaging 27 points, whatever. Like she was the like leading scorer in the country. If it was about scoring, we would have heard about her, right? Like if we were talking about just somebody being dominant, we would have heard more about Aaliyah Boston and her run. Like there are so many things that like you can spin coverage however you want, but at the end of the day, it's a choice about who they want to cover, whose story they want to tell. Because even if we say, okay, well, she's a great scorer, Deja Fair was right there. Like Caitlin, yeah, is number 1, but Deja Fair is number 3. She has now passed Kelsey Mitchell. Like somebody who's in the WNBA. These records that have been held for however long, you have 2 people who have reached the top 5 in scoring the same year, and only one of them is well known. Like these are coverage choices. And I keep trying to explain that to people, and I keep trying to explain to them too that like you don't have to accept that, right? And we don't have to accept the fact that ESPN can cover one person. Like ESPN has more than one journalist on payroll. Like there is enough for them to cover even 5 to 6 people. And it's not like they're following them around. Because again, like I said earlier, they can just get on women's basketball Twitter and search that person's name and get all the information that they need, because them fans have already done the legwork. So all they got to do is say, let me put this in the article. Let me put this on the front. Boom, bam, here we go. Let's do a little cover of her. Let's go to Notre Dame and talk to Hannah Hidalgo. Let's go to Syracuse and cough the Asia Fair. Let's go to UConn and talk to Paige Beckers. They can do these things, but they're choosing not to. It's a choice. That are all, because of our biases. And like Don said, they're not biases and bad, but you have to acknowledge them. And it's like, if you're not going to acknowledge them, you're going to continue to like run across these disparities in coverage. And you're going to continue to have these delusional people thinking, oh, well, we only know Caitlin Clark because she passed the scoring record. Like, no, we know her because ESPN said, yeah, we should know her. Like, let's actually look at her life. I have never seen them. And it's even crazier to me too. Like when we think about Angel and the coverage that LSU has gotten this season, like they were literally the reigning champs. They did lose the first game of the season, but you would think that after they lost, that they would honestly get a little bit more coverage to see like how that happened, why that happened, what are they doing to get better. And it's like they weren't, unless you're locked into women's basketball, you would never know. Like you would have no idea what the difference is. You know what I mean? Like what the difference in style and all that kind of stuff is. So I just want people to know that like these are choices that are being made. And it's okay. Caitlin, and that's not to say that Caitlin doesn't deserve it, because she does. She's an incredible player. She's averaging 30 points or 7 whatever her stats is. She deserves to be covered. But then again, it's a choice.
Everything is a choice, and we said this last episode, but these things show that they had the material before and they just decided not to use it. Like I think they didn't even put women's March Madness games on TV until like the mid 2000s or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Like, or like
the women weren't even allowed to use March Madness in their branding until last year.
Like that's nasty. Like Arike hit 2 of the greatest shots in college basketball history. Like 2 game-winning jump shots to go to the national championship and win a national championship. And the average person does not know. And it is one of the greatest things that has ever happened in the history of college basketball. And like you just wouldn't know because they don't talk about these things or mention these things. And we're talking about NBA, WNBA numbers, how much they've improved over the years, but especially like the last 2 years. And that's also because the ease of access to games have just helped so much, like putting more games on Ion and like having them actually on ESPN for people to watch them and like covering the finals appropriately. Like if you put things out there for people to watch, people will watch them. And I remember during the finals, people were like, I think that during the finals, there were NBA games on or something like that. And there were NFL games on. And people were like, why are y'all having final games the same day as NFL games? It's like, nigga, if somebody wants to watch the WNBA finals, they can watch the WNBA finals. And they still have record viewership numbers. So it's like, if you put them on TV, people gonna look at them. It don't have to, it's not it's not a hard code to crack.
It's like I'm sorry that the NBA be letting the NFL take over their trap, but like
bro, the NBA let the NFL take their Saturday change.
If the game is available, and I want to watch the game, I'm gonna watch the game. So I mean, if you're not gonna watch it, that's fine. I am though. So I'm gonna have this game on my TV.
I do not have to watch the Jets versus the Bengals with the WNBA finals on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't have to watch every NFL game that ever exists. I understand it's less
It's
games.
just like sorry, I missed this Carolina Panthers game because the WNBA finals was on. But
and it just kills me too, because it's like I tweeted this, but like it's men are such a delusional, and like I know you guys are men, but like men are such a delusional bunch of people, because like why do you think that like you're the only person that exists? Like, yes, the NFL is on, but bitch, I don't give a fuck. I don't watch the NFL.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the issue. And part of it is because the narrative of, well, women don't watch the WNBA. And so that also doesn't, like, that goes into their argument. And it's like, well, yes, we are the only people because y'all don't watch sports. And it's like, yeah, they do.
It's like, it's so illogical. Like, of sports fan, like the difference between women and men sports fans is like 60-40. Like, it's not like a 80-20 or 90-10, even 70-30. It is 60-40. That means there are a lot of fucking women watching sports. And I get so mad. I get so mad every time I hear a nigga be like, well, women don't watch the WNBA, because they're always talking to a woman. Like, they're always talking to a woman. It never fails. Why are you? I am literally writing a think piece right now about the WNBA. You want to come in my mentions to tell me I don't watch the WNBA? Are you dumb?
Nah, it'd be funny. It'd be funny when and this goes back to like Twitter arguments, but when they be doing the little Twitter back and forth, and they be like, name 7 WNBA players, it'd be like, well, you're not asking this for an argument, because when I do name the 7, you're gonna be like, oh, you had to look that up. So it's like, but it always be them arguing with a woman, like, oh, y'all don't watch WNBA basketball, and it's like, oh, I do watch WNBA basketball, and it's like, well, name 7 players, and then y'all name y'all 7 players, and it's like, oh no, you had to look that up. That's not y'all, you don't really watch. It's just like, bro, you can't win. Because they already have this idea in their head, so y'all already cooked.
It's just like such a delusional thing. And it's like, again, these is choices. I don't care about, like, I exclusively watch women's basketball. And I know that might be a little bit of an anomaly. Like, a lot of people, they're sports fans, they'll watch a lot of different sports. That's completely fair. But two, it's like, you want me to watch a week 1 NFL game to the WNBA finals. I think a lot of like actual sports fans will be like, I think we'll be okay if we miss week 1. Like, it is not this thing that it needs to be. It just, I don't know, it kills me so much. And that's like the one thing that genuinely just pisses me off so bad. It's like, stop saying women don't watch the WNBA, because if you go to these games, there are women in the building. Like, there was this, I saw somebody the other day say, oh, well, when people go to sporting events, it's usually the dads taking their daughters. Okay.
No.
When's the last time you went? Like, I know that's the characterization on TV, but like, genuinely, when is the last time you went to a sporting event?
I think that girl dad shit has ruined the perspective of who watches the sport. But I would just like to say, from personal experience, as someone who's went to 3 WNBA All-Star game or All-Star weekends and a Dallas Wings game, it is more than likely, I think it's like 60-40 to women in there. Like, I know the WNBA All-Star game, it was hella women in there. Like, I don't remember seeing that much men in general. Last year. But like, as far as like the games and stuff, like, I was like, okay, like, this niggas here, but like, it was mainly women in there because the XFU supported. So if you know people with these narratives, or you are that person with this narrative, I just need you to like, think about yourself or think about us, and just remember, we're telling you to tell them or tell yourself you're making things up and you're a liar, or the person you know is making things up and they're a liar. These things are not true. So yeah, that was our Elite 8, Sweet 16, Final Four, look, things like that. Next, we will go into Ole Miss, and Ole Miss has made a interesting hire, to say the least. Ole Miss just hired a man named Quentin Hillsman. And there has been a lot of uproar about this hire. Me, being slightly newer to women's basketball, I said, why is this such an issue? I thought maybe he was just a terrible coach where he was at, and people just didn't like that he was about to be an assistant coach there. But then I went to the legal issues section of his Wikipedia page. And
you know you're a terrible person when you have a legal issues section.
Bro,
like
that shit never good.
That the legal issues come up before your personal life. You're terrible.
So I would just like to read this out for the class. On November 18th, 2014, New York State Tax Department.
Don't read this word for word, Donovan. Just tell them summarize.
Okay, sorry. The first one is taxes, which is like, whatever. Taxes, whatever.
Stealing from the government, I'll allow it.
Yeah, stealing from the government, I would have cut you some slack there. You might be a good person. I don't know. Stealing from the government kind of fire. But in 2011, a former player accused him of inappropriate behavior, and their father filed a Title sexual harassment. Thank you, Title IX. Not good with Roman numerals. Sexual harassment complaint against the university, stating that he inappropriately touched and texted her. Now, an independent counsel investigated her accusations and found no evidence of harassment. So maybe, and we all know how this stuff goes with women, with like the numbers on like men getting convicted for this is not good. So like,
experience sexual harassment.
I'm still liable to believe that this. I would have still been liable to believe he was a nasty man, but God forbid this did not happen and he was falsely accused. Whatever. So then, an article was published in 2021. Hillsman would frequently use inappropriate language, regularly threaten players, make players uncomfortable by kissing them on the forehead, hired an assistant who was also accused of sexual harassment that made both players and managers uncomfortable, and refused to give players water breaks after periods of running, which is kind of crazy that was put last because that's the smallest part of it. But then he resigned, and then 2 other additional administrators were no longer employed. And then there was an external investigation into the program, found that Syracuse Athletics mishandled concerning behavior and complaints, and a number of players and managers described an unhealthy environment and culture. So, and I'm pretty sure like the whole like Syracuse roster left or whatever, or a lot of them end up leaving over this, which is very understandable. So this is now Ole Miss assistant coach. So earlier in the episode, we had said, people are not allowed to go to Ole Miss, and this is why. And y'all know, in earlier episodes, we talked about how much we like love Ole Miss and love Coach Yo, and like they'll probably only need like one more piece and blah 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 blah. That shit dead. That shit dead. I hate it had to be Ole Miss the program, but hiring someone of this nature is not protecting your players. Like, this came out 3 years ago. Like, 3 years is not a long time. Yeah, regardless of whether he did this 10, 20 years ago, he still should have, like, been in the dirt somewhere. But, like, 3? he's still the same nigga.
It just I don't know. I feel like even if you didn't believe the 2011 one, when they did the thing and said 11 people left your program, like that's your whole roster. You lost a whole team full of people in like one, bro, like in one season. All 11 of them can't be lying. Like it's just no way that all of them are like, actually, we're gonna stand against Mr. Hillsman. Like,
And this be my thing with accusations, with like of anything, and people be like, yeah, some of them are just trying to get money, whatever. I don't care if 50 people said you touched them and one person is telling the truth, nigga, you touched somebody. I don't know. I don't know what to tell. Like, nigga, you still nasty. I don't care. If it's a 99.9, you got a 99.9 rate of not doing shit to somebody, but you did it to one person, nigga, you still did it to one person. I don't know. You still nasty. So Lord, 11 people left and accused you of something, and maybe 10 of them was just like the vibe was just off, but you did it to somebody.
and I think it's really like, honestly, this seems like it's becoming like a real problem. I mean, it's been a problem, but it's becoming a real problem like across women's basketball. Like they got the Nebraska coach who got the allegations that she allowed some misconduct to happen under her, and they're coaches are getting fired left and right or resigning left and right for just series of allegations. And it's just like, you are literally coaching impressionable young women. Like, can we please just have one thing? Like, one thing. And it just, I don't know. And then for Shakira to tweet like he's gonna fit right in, like that just rubs me the wrong way. Like, what is going on in there?
That was the craziest part, because it's like, damn, that means other people are in the organization are more than likely also doing this. Like, and this is another case of like how racism and misogyny, like those don't help the outlooks of things. And it's like, y'all are forgiving a man potentially, or trying to make it seem like this man is forgiven for the things that he's done, or these things weren't as serious, and like he's grown or whatever, boys will be boys type shit. And you have these young women that you are trying to coach and grow. Like, your job is not just to y'all show up and play basketball and you done with these niggas after. Like, you have a relationship before they before they are on your roster, because that's how they got there. You got a relationship with them while they're there. Like, you are their protector, their guardian, whatever. And most good coaches are going to have a relationship with you after the fact, in some capacity. And if a coach don't feel like, I'm looking at any coach sideways if a player does not feel comfortable talking to you when this shit over.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is just the whole thing rubs me the wrong way. What is going on at Ole Miss? Like, they just hired Chris Beard to be their head basketball coach, I believe, on the men's side. Like, I'm pretty sure his arrest for domestic violence, I'm not even sure that was more than a year ago. So it's just like, it's clear that the brass, the AD at Ole Miss just doesn't care about these things. But I don't know, man. It's like, I know people will just be like, oh, it's just we need good coaches over here. We need wins, but it's just like, what's the cost of that? Like,
what's the cost?
it's just like, it just feels like a bridge too far for me. And I mean, Ole Miss might they might take a hit. Like there might be some issues, because I certainly, as a parent, I'm sure as parents, there's gonna be some players that's gonna be looking at this and feeling away because it's like, okay, so what's really going on here? Like, what do y'all value?
Yeah, it's like if this coach gives me only one team wins a national championship every year. Like if this nasty coach gives me one more year, but like my program, the outlook of the program looks worse, and the players hate my program, and they don't want nothing to do with me when this shit over, and all this other stuff. Like that shit not worth it. Even if we won a national championship, like, is it really worth it? Like at the cost of potentially traumatizing these players and these people's lives, and like some shit is just not worth it in the grand scheme. So yeah, Ole Miss is nasty. Unfortunately, that program and Coach Yo is on our shit list. I don't really, there's nothing that they could say at this juncture because there's no way they didn't know this happened. I know Coach Yo be in those spaces, but I feel like she's not gonna be doing those no more because I know the first thing that somebody's gonna ask her is, "Nigga, why?"
And it's like it's. I just really hate. Like I'm just was really rooting for her so hard, but like, why? And it's like that they know because they made a point to talk about like how long she's known him and just like he's a family man and all that. It's like this is coded language where y'all know he on some bullshit, but we can look past it because he can improve our program a little bit.
Oh, so okay, so the statement they put out with as with all new campus hires, the university conducted a standard vetting procedure on Coach Hillman, including a comprehensive background check, which sounds like either they did not or they did not care. Additionally, our coaching staff has maintained a close relationship with Coach Hillman for decades and knows firsthand the type of coach and person that he is. Again, crazy. That means you know the shit that was going on. And like you still was like, fuck them girls. You can help my program. Others in the industry have expressed the same sentiment on his high character and productive contributions at past institutions. From Coach Hillman's arrival on our campus, it has been evident that he is not only an outstanding coach, but a family man that will make a positive impact on our program and community. See, this family man shit, that shit don't matter. If you could be the greatest husband and dad in the world, nigga, if you nasty, you nasty. Like this is like a worse version of the shit that we was talking about with the Phoenix coach. Like when they fired the Phoenix Mercury head coach and they kept emphasizing that he was a great girl dad and stuff. And it's like, nigga, you ain't done nothing. So why do I care? But like this is that times 10. It's like, why do you keep telling me this nigga is a great family man? Nigga, 11 people left. He was being inappropriate to multiple players, like multiple. Got accused of something, and maybe by a small chance he didn't do it. But then so many other accusations came. Like he did something to somebody. So yeah, that's not a good look. And Jermaine mentioned the Nebraska coach and the fact that they got an extension after.
And even I was just looking at the post again, but even the Kim Mulkey thing, like we were all talking about the Washington Post, and like that was the longest article. But there's also full of misconduct, full of her like treating her queer players horribly, full of her being a really hard coach, just like, and just doing some inappropriate things throughout the article. And it's like obviously I feel like sports are always in that spots that's like, well, they're a good coach, we can look beyond it. But it's like it doesn't have to be like that because there are good people out there who are who are good at basketball and mostly good people. Like, as long as you're not like Duck, I think we could be cool. I know somebody out there gotta be misconduct free. I know it might take us a little while to work it out, but there has to be better choices.
This how Bob Knight was at Indiana. Like, they kept finding out he was doing bad shit, and then the people was like, "Well, he won a championship, so I don't know what y'all want me to say." And like, people was coming out saying like he was like assaulting them and all this other stuff, like physically assaulting them and just being an overall terrible person. And the people was like, "Nah, he's a really good coach though, so I don't really care. Like, we'll put that behind us." And Ben Roethlisberger, like, we knew that nigga was shitty, and people was like, "Nah, but he got us a ring or two, and so we're gonna have to put that bitch to the side." Deshaun Watson, people was ready for Deshaun Watson to be traded to the Browns, and people on the Browns is like, "Well, if he's good at football, I don't really give a fuck." And it's like, bro, y'all are throwing away.
He hasn't been. Like,
and that's what y'all get. He looked like one of the best football prospects in a long time. And he was nasty and got traded and started playing this like terrible football. And that's the fuck he get. Every day he played, I wish he tore something. And he did. But he played like he did. And yeah, so I don't know. People who are willing to throw away their morals for like small improvements to things, those type of things I can't really get with. Like, well, especially when it comes to like activities that hurt other people. Like, if it's something they did to themselves or whatever, you know, I don't know. But like, nigga, you traumatize somebody's life or whatever. So yeah. Let me go to these coaching award, or not coaching awards, but these national awards. Player of the year, Caitlin Clark. We kind of already knew that was gonna happen. It wasn't really like.
Now, why did they put runner-up Juju Watkins? When the fuck did they start giving out? Sorry, I'm gonna really stop cursing one day. But when the fuck did they start giving out runner-up awards?
I think in this whole article
really
it got runner-up in the back, but it's kind of funny that this is now they're starting this. Last season felt like a breakthrough for Clark.
which we just talked about. Not exactly, because sophomore year she basically played the same way.
So yeah, this was kind of her award from the beginning, and like she was in prime position to get it. She destroyed a lot of records and did a lot of things, and was the best player on Iowa by, it is what it is. Shout out to her. She's still in tournament. Will be Indiana's #1 overall pick, bearing something crazy happens. Yeah, Juju Watkins got runner-up, which shout out to her because, as we all know, she is a freshman, and being the #2 overall scorer in the country as a freshman is insane. And she basically took the hype that came out of high school and really is doing that and more. Because you just don't see freshmen doing anything. You don't see players doing anything that she's done already. So you definitely don't see freshmen. So freshman of the year, Juju Watkins. That wasn't really I don't know. I don't really think that was any.
Nah, once
Once that 50-point game came.
Yeah, it was like, but the thing about freshman of the year, when you saw the National Player of the Year finalists and there's a freshman on there, it's not really a question as to who's going to be the freshman of the year. But
Hannah should have been on that National Player of the Year. By the way, she could have took Cam Brink's spot because she ain't done nothing in this tournament that made me think she should have still been on that list. But I understand it's a regular season award, but I digress. Hannah is dear heavens, like. I don't know what to say. I think she was like 5th in scoring, person steals, and they're about to get Olivia Miles back next year, so we'll see. Coach, my Don Staley, my captain, no captain. One of the people that made Rebecca Lobo sit by herself at lunch, as they should.
I just think do we think that the voters will ever give voters fatigue picking Dawn Staley as coach of the year?
She's not getting it next year. Like, there's no way. The thing is, she got it last year, right? Well, she got
it 3 years in a row.
This is her third straight year.
So it's like, okay.
Three of the last 5 years, too.
So they gave it
4 of the last 5 years.
The first part of that three-peat, they gave it to her because I'm pretty sure she had the best team. Like, Aaliyah and them were juniors. Like, it is what it is. Next year, they have to give it to her because they're undefeated. Like, they're the only undefeated team in the country. Like, you have to give the undefeated team coach of the year. The next season, everyone thinks, okay, their 5 starters are gone. Like, this is like that LeBron meme, like, he's 32. We don't have to deal with this fuckery. We don't have to deal with this fuckery any longer. Or, like, it's almost over. And the shit was not over. Brand new people, like transfers, people that didn't play much last year, she still went undefeated. Like, I think next year, even if she does go undefeated again, they're probably not going to give it to her because, like, okay, now we know you could coach girls from the YMCA and you're going to be successful. So now we have expectations. Like, there are just so many expectations on you. And I don't know. So, but she did a hell of a job, as we all know. Runner up. It was crazy because I don't remember seeing him on the coach thing before. Like, I thought Scott Ruick. I thought when we looked at the coach of the year finalists last episode, it was Don, the coach for USC, Tara, and Lisa.
It was.
So the fact that he got runner up after this is kind of crazy. But he's another one.
They was reading my tweets because if I would have seen Tara and that Bob or Lisa and got that award, I was gonna be at the house.
They both him and Coach Ivy could have took Tara and Lisa's spot, but that's him getting runner up after this is insane. No, so it's crazy. Runner up for Coach of the Year was the one award we split over, but Ruick earned 2 of the 3 votes on Notre Dame's. Ivy garnered the other. So they ended up doing the right thing in the end. Doing the right thing in the end. I respect that a lot. Because Tara and them was on there, and I'm like,
wait. Maybe this is just like the ESPN ballot thing.
It gotta be because I remember they doing no runners up, but they still match. They're still the same, but still.
Okay, well, I have to look at another list after this. Paige, Cameron Brink. We know Cameron Brink won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, she did.
Same stuff. Like they did the same ones Nate Smith did. Like these are the same people that won.
Yeah, it just happened to be the same. Yeah. Yeah, maybe this is just like this. Maybe this is just their ballot. Like I'm sure they had one, but maybe this is just theirs.
Let me see if I can find the actual one there.
I think they only show you
the winners. Yeah, I don't think
they give you an expose.
Yeah.
But at least ESPN did the right thing. I was talking shit about them, and I will continue to do so. But at least they try to do the right thing.
It's kind of, ESPN is like they're just like corporation. They're a corporation version of Kathy. Like you got to talk shit about ESPN for them to damn fix stuff. Like yes, they deserve some credit sometimes. But it's like
realize what you said.
I'm with you when you're right, but when you're wrong, I gotta let you know.
It's like if I give you too much credit, you're gonna start slipping. Like Kathy in that blazer, if I give you too much credit, you're gonna start slipping. So I gotta slander you. So yeah.
That's so funny.
But
I'm trying to see who won the award the one year Dawn Staley didn't win.
Was it Gino?
I don't think it would be with that. Was 3 years, 2020,
Or 21.
2021.
Yeah.
I hate that I have to put women's in front of everything. Like, I don't care about
It was
these men.
Tara.
It was Tara?
Yeah.
Oh, because they won a championship that year. I get them that.
Yeah.
I get them that. I get them that. I'll give the Bob that one. She deserved that one.
So it was Don, Tara, Don, Lisa.
I think Meg was running the country that year.
Vic, Gino, Courtney, Muffet
Courtney
McGraw,
Banger? Oh, at Princeton. Interesting.
Muffet, Kim, Tara, Connie, Gino. Yeah, Gino got 8 of them little babies. It's so crazy that, like, I was texting y'all earlier, but like in the NBA, niggas do not get back-to-back coach of years. Like, that shit is dead. Like, Popovich been coaching since.
It's funny because, and I think the reason for that is in the NBA, they like in college they just be like, oh, whoever coached the best team is the best coach. In the NBA, they be trying to be like, now, who do we think?
Who do we think stink?
Who do we think was going? And they ended up being straight. That's not coach of the year. Just think about it. Eric Spoelstra been the best coach in the NBA for at least 8 years. Has he ever won coach of the year?
I got that.
I don't think so.
I don't think he has. Or if he did, he must have won recently, because I feel like somebody was just having this conversation.
Never.
No,
He's never won coach of the year.
Yeah, this is
They
really
have him on the list of top 15 coaches in NBA history, and he has never won coach of the year.
Okay, I need to load some noise.
That is so funny. It's not funny because he should win, but
right, it's because they Galaxy Brain the award every year, and it is so funny. They gave it to Tom Thibodeau twice.
Wait, did Monty Williams get fired?
Yes.
Like after he won?
Okay, so Mike Brown got it because they thought the Kings were going to stink. Monty Williams got it because they thought the Suns were going to stink. Tom Thibodeau got it because they thought the Knicks were going to stink. Nick Nurse got it. I mean, I don't think the people thought the Raptors are going to like stink, but
the Raptors had just won the championship, and then they lost Kawhi, and they were still straight. So
yeah,
that's why he got it.
Mike Budenholzer got it because that was the best like the Bucks had done since Kareem was there. Dwayne Casey got it because the Raptors were the best team in the East, and LeBron ended up smoking these niggas. Mike D'Antoni, because the Rockets were like, this was probably one of the few ones
that was MVP. That was MVP Harden.
This little 2 back-to-back is probably like, okay, like this isn't like a really Galaxy Brain thing. Like, this is just like the best coach, whatever. Mike Budenholzer with the Hawks.
Hawks won 60 games. Yeah.
I would never forgive the NYPD. I will never.
The NYPD. This is the conspiracy. This is my conspiracy. Okay, I'm putting the tinfoil hat on for this one. The NYPD did the reason that the Hawks didn't win the 2015 NBA championship because they broke Thabo Cephalos's leg, and we didn't have nobody to guard LeBron, and he went absolutely nuclear on us, and there was nothing that we could do.
And it's so crazy how that was not a bigger story. Like, nigga, the cops broke an NBA player's leg. And it's just like, niggas is just like, the Hawks, oh, well, you're cooked. And it's like, nigga, this is an NBA player.
They had 5 All-Stars that year, and he won one of them. So, this must not be nobody important.
This is the best defender on the best team in the league record-wise. Like, nigga, the cops broke his leg. Like, yes, that matters. I know LeBron is LeBron, but like, damn, can they get a chance?
I literally have never heard this story in my life.
It is one of the craziest NBAs. And again, people do not talk about this often. Like, when they talk about LeBron dominating the East, like, this is not something that gets brought up. But like, this nigga was just what they just like walk around New York and like they just like
So
cop.
so the thing is, we probably would have lost to the Cavs anyway, but because LeBron is LeBron, but like, and that's why it don't get talked about because people just like, yeah, it was the Hawks. Like they won 60 games, but they weren't finna beat nobody for real. Like that was it. That was it. But yeah, that's what it is.
So yeah,
this is so funny to me.
Greg Popovich. This is also one of the few ones that's like, okay, like the Spurs are always good, so this makes sense. They were just by far and away the best team in the league. They thought the Nuggets were going to stink this year, and the Nuggets are one of the best teams in the league. The Bulls were kind of like crazy good. This is the Thunder's first good year.
That was the Rose MVP year. I'm pretty sure.
This was the Cavs winning 66 games, even though he had a terrible reputation as a coach at this time. So like, yeah, NBA Coach of the Year is very like Jay said, very galaxy brain type shit. And college coaches of the year is like, you good? Then come get this award. Your team good, and we knew you was gonna be good. That's perfectly fine. Is WNBA Coach of the Year like that?
No, I feel like they're pretty fair.
Yeah, I mean, like it's and even so with the W, I've never like seen a coach win it and be like, they overthinking it. Like I don't think so. Like I feel like they do a pretty good job.
I mean,
I'm not saying the NBA does a bad job. It's just funny because it's just like y'all do be overthinking a little bit. Like you do.
I was like trying to look at the win percentages, and I'm like, most of these are like 70%. Like, I mean, which is good, right? Like, it's good, but also like, okay.
And lastly, I don't really need to pull up the tweet for this, but like, we were gonna talk about transfers and the transfer portal specifically. Oh wait,
too much. It's too much. There are 1,000 people. It's actually probably now 1,010 people in the transfer portal, and I feel like we need to like go back and find that other tweet about the production of these people, and yeah, so maybe we'll wait a little bit.
The grass is not always greener.
Bro, the grass is. Some of y'all are gonna end up on teams in worse situations than when y'all started, and some of y'all are gonna be like, "This is the greatest thing that ever happened to me." Some of y'all are gonna be like, "This is the worst thing that ever happened to me." Some of y'all are gonna go to places where y'all might be a little bit better, but like you play worse, or like you might play a little better, but like your team is never gonna win anything. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously things can't work out. Like Camila Cardoso transferred from Syracuse. That was obviously the best thing that ever happened to her. She's probably gonna be a top 5 pick. But like it don't always end up that way.
Rakia Jackson transferred, and like she was probably gonna be Rakia Jackson everywhere she went, and she could have been Rakia Jackson in any big school. So I don't really know. Angel Reese went from Maryland to LSU, and like she won a championship, so that was really nice. But having to be coached by Kim Mulkey, I don't know. So like, yeah,
Samaro transferred, and this is her front court now. So
Haley Van Lith transferred, and she is in. She honestly is in one of the worst situations I've seen post transfer. Like her draft stock went down. She played worse. The coach put her in a terrible position. Like she got no help whatsoever. So I don't know. Grass is not always greener, like Jay said. The girls have to be careful. I don't know. I don't know I don't really know if there's a way you can regulate that, but some of y'all need to stick to where y'all at, to be completely honest with you. I be seeing freshmen transfer and like they ain't put up no stats like that, and it's just like, maybe I could wait one more year to see like if you really don't like this or not. But yeah, that is That's all I have for my agendas. Did anything else have anything to say?
No, but next episode it's gonna be championship talk and draft talk, and I cannot wait.
Is it the draft is next week?
No, but we
After
gotta
that.
It's in 2
talk. We
weeks.
gotta talk draft though.
We
We have
will
to
talk
talk
draft.
draft. Once the season over, we have to talk draft.
So the Final Four is on Friday, but by the time this episode comes out, it'll probably be today. So the Final Four is, let's just say it's today, and the championship game is Sunday. I think Sunday.
And they haven't said when they're doing it, but that college all-star game is as apparently actually happening. So we can probably talk about that too, because we'll see what girls do they think for the draft? Who trying to raise their draft stock a little bit?
So yeah, it'll be a way to kind of get things going. I'm very excited. We already said our predictions, but we good. So we appreciate y'all for checking us out. As always, tell your friend, tell a friend. It's okay to have agendas, but be careful what your agendas are. Don't let people say shit without being checked. But also, if you got to keep checking them, you might just need to ignore it, especially online. Online, people just say things just because. But yeah, I'm Paragon Don.
I'm Jamae.
I'm Jay Trent.
And we're out.